comes down significantly in cost, then there would not be any comparison at all. Because if you buy airtime on CBC for an hour, the cost is about $500, right? On VOV it's about 17. Remember, there's an argument whether the BCA should be selling rights as distinct from buying airtime. The board has always argued that CBC should be buying rights.
Tell me something to a 6 saying right
However,
now.
it has never materialized.
But
So
they don't market themselves
no, they don't
enough
market themselves. They don't
to
market
make it, to make themselves an entity to
because ideally they should be selling the rights to CBC. But that's what it costs them over $100,000 every year. Because what they do is that they have to buy the airtime. So from 1 o'clock to about 5 or whatever it is, they buy that. But then the production is increased in terms of cost because in addition to buying airtime, they also pay commentators.
But you see what you did, what you said this morning, which I was very indicative. Because if, say, VOB gets the contract, you still have the two radio stations are different. So the systems are different. So you need that technical support. You need somebody who has experience.
I spoke to Stephen as well. You see, the problem is that a lot of these fellas do not rely on experience. Like Police T20. If y'all gonna host a tournament next year, y'all have to include people with experience. Your message there was poor. You got like chicken best nurse in the studio and now you tell your margin to promote your tournament. If you're Alison Roach may be able to promote a VOB event at thing. She can promote this.
You know what I said?
Because I'm not just saying, look, even the ad that y'all did, right? You have in your ad to put that the games are being streamed.
Listen, that has nothing to do with me.
That's easy.
I ain't doing nothing to do with it. But as I said,
But listen,
99%
I could
of
have,
the public of Barbados knows it.
I know. I could have promoted. I could have done the promotion this way all free.
You know, it's like
Because remember, you have to get the communication out that the games are being streamed because you want viewership. The commentaries on the radio.
right.
So therefore, all of your ads, you have to put, and the games are being streamed or whatever, or wherever it's shooting, right? Secondly, you bought an hour.
You know what I mean?
You got Ting doing your stuff. You got chicken breast now.
As I told, as a person who wants 99% of Barbados knows me.
But we don't listen though.
They're gonna follow me. You know how many my phone is going off. Yes.
Listen though.
on Saturday morning, the guy on the Facebook was advertising the tournament, and at no point did he mention who was playing the semi-finals.
No, but did you say the games were streaming? No.
But he didn't even talk about the cricket that was
No,
playing. He did.
no,
He
no.
just said, yeah, Barbados and Trinidad, and it's like at that point you can't be getting a whole run over there.
But when it was a my way to lyrics. Listen,
He
one.
didn't have it. He didn't have it.
But there's something called messaging.
He wants it. He did not have it.
Listen.
But my thing is to move not only the
I
radio,
understand y'all want
but
to start
media.
next year.
That's what the sponsors.
But what I'm saying to you is that if y'all want
Media,
to determine,
what
they all
I'm
start
saying
working at
is,
me.
you gotta look at social media too.
Of course.
So you should be promoting them on Instagram, Facebook, and those places.
Of
That
course.
Your majority of your public who follows these things.
Yeah.
So if you promote them on that, you will get advance coming through.
Sure, is it?
This is the shirt. Yeah, this is the shirt.
I want to talk about how we start because we got 5 minutes to build it. I just do like a little opening.
Alright, so what I was looking at, I had a list of the players who have played first class cricket. Right? Right, so it is Vincent, it is Martin, Denver, right, and Maloney. And then for the Grenada, Campbell, Jeremiah,
warm and deserving of a place here in the final in Grenada. The atmosphere is set, and today is going to be one fantastic day to culminate what has been a superb tournament here hosted in Barbados. My name is Joel Manning, and alongside of me is Wayne Holder to take you through the early exchanges of this encounter. We've certainly seen some fantastic action on hand, Wayne. A few standout players as well. Who's caught your eye so far in this tournament?
Well, first of all, this guy from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dylan Douglas. If a player of the tournament were to be chosen right now, he would undoubtedly be that person. Douglas, he's the leading run scorer in the competition by far, and he's also done well with the ball for his side. He's also taken, I think, some 8 wickets and 260 runs, something. 280 runs, in fact, he has scored. He scored 100, the highest of 103, and he is averaging a rather timely 93.33 runs per innings, Dylan Douglas. So he is definitely one who would have caught the eye. Kadeem Ali from Barbados, young all-rounder playing for the police team here, the Barbados police team. He has also had a very outstanding tournament with bat and ball. As far as batting is concerned, of course, Salvin Brown and Lyndon Lawrence. Salvin Brown from St. Vincent, and Johan, and both Johan Jeremiah and Lyndon Lawrence are from Grenada. For team players who are playing in this match, yes, there will be some of my outstanding players.
Well, making their way onto the field, the batters for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In terms of the information from the toss, Grenada, they won the toss and opted to bowl first here today at Kensington Oval, the mecca of cricket in the Caribbean. Opening the batting for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's going to be Salvin Brown and Shaman Hooper. And to get things started for Grenada, the tall figure, the man that we've enjoyed running into the crease quite often across this tournament, it will be Niklas Redhead.
And again, among the bowlers, quite interesting. The top bowlers in the preliminary, right to the semi-finals, would have been 3 Trinidadians, Joel. I mean, Mike Riley, Damian Brown, and Darius Besai, the leading wicket takers in the preliminary round. But I think that has a lot to do with the variety and that both the St. Vincent and Grenada possess, where they don't depend on any specific individual when it comes to bowling. They've got a good all-round bowling units, both teams, pace and spin, and they definitely would have shared the wickets around in the early stages of the competition.
Right arm over to get things started here in the final. 2:05 p.m. in Barbados. Let's get things going. The first runs off the bat, a good start for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
A sharp single taken, just a misfield by the bowler. Ball just pushed gently back along the pitch. The bowler putting down his left hand and not fielding cleanly. And immediately they pair off for the single. The mid-off fielder came racing in. And at the moment, there is some concern being shown to that fielder because he's laying prone on the floor and surrounded by a number of his teammates. The umpires have also joined in, and the medicals from off the field have also come on to the ground. Might very well be a bit of a niggle, and it could be a hamstring, might be a knee, but the teams were here quite early warming up, so I don't think it could be a matter of not being fully warm because we were here from an hour before the start, and both teams were out there in the middle. By then, an hour away from the start, were out there getting themselves ready, doing all the different drills and doing the practice drills and the like. So I don't think it could be a matter of not being warm, but I think that player it all seems to be well.
Yeah, let's just hope that nothing too serious. They called it the magic spray, and we certainly hope it works its magic out there today. Probably just a case of maybe hitting the turf quite hard as well. You know that it's really been dry conditions in Barbados, but Kensington Oval still looking a picture of a beauty here in Barbados. So it looks like we're going to get things going again.
That player apparently, Joel, looks like Josh Noel, if the number 6 is worn by the correct player. Yes, it is, and the number 6 player just going past the batsman now about to take strike, Shaman Hooper, well, about to take guard. That man has immediately been moved into the slip area, so Josh Noel, the man.
Yeah, looking for early wickets. Grenada, a team that has bowled quite well across this competition and depended heavily on Redhead. And on the flip side of things, St. Vincent Grenadines, well, they have certainly batted quite well across this tournament. In fact, on 5 occasions, batting first and putting on what has been very good totals, you would have to say, as I mentioned at the start of our commentary. They are the only unbeaten side in this competition and putting up scores of 201, 168, 272, 275. And in that semi-final versus Barbados, 171, all batting first. That will get the confidence going. The first boundary for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, left-handed Hooper going over the top, getting one, pitched up outside the off-stump. Hooper, a man who didn't start out the tournament in the opening position, but as we spoke to the captain, Desmond Maloney, at the conclusion of the semi-final, a tactical move to move himself down into the middle order and exploiting that area over the infield on the offside, and the ball pitching and skidding away to the boundary at Kensington over the Kensington outfield, looking in nice, really good shape. And pitch looks rather brown and flat.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness, from the top drawer that is.
What a shot. Again, he's pitching up a bit closer to the off stump this time. The previous delivery, Hooper had to reach for it and lifted it over the offside field. But this one was pitching a bit straighter, a bit closer to the off stump. Again, pitched up, and he banged it back along the wicket. A bit of bottom hand coming in at the last moment to keep it. The bowler could only watch it go past his left hand, racing out to the boundary immediately behind the bowler.
Yeah, to add insult to injury, is also a no ball. So a free hit on offer for St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well. Just what they would want at the start of this contest to get them going. Capitalizes on that as well. Back-to-back boundaries.
Bad delivery this time. Short, and I think taking the pace off too. And Hooper just having all the time in the world to pick his spot where he wanted to hit that one. Chose to go over the square leg area, just helping it out to the deep square boundary. That boundary, the longest boundary on the ground. Martin coming around to the left-hander and just laying back and finding that area over the head of the infield for more St. Vincent. Immediately on the move.
Yeah, he started over the wicket. He's now gone back over the wicket. This could be a chance. And success for Grenada.
Fine delivery from Redhead this time. Short, lifting steeply up toward the shoulder of the diminutive Shaman Hooper, and not being able to control the shot. The ball getting up just above the right shoulder for the left-hander, and an indeterminate jab at the delivery, not a real convincing flick or pull shot, and just helping it in the air, no control whatsoever, and a simple catch taken. So Redhead has won the war, despite Hooper winning a couple of battles. Yeah,
certainly good stuff from him. A good comeback, you would have to say. I mentioned the fact that he's a very tall figure and extracting some bounce here from the Kensington Oval pitch, something that we certainly expect. Getting high there on Hooper, not really getting a chance to get it around the corner. In fact, just worked it. And that man at the short fine leg taking a comfortable catch. He has to go for 12. It is 14 for 1.
Somewhat disconcerted by the bounce extracted. This is a brand new Kensington track. We're using the pitch on the farthest, on this to the western side of the square. And at that time, pounding the delivery in was Redhead. And excellently lined delivery too. I think the line and the bounce really were the undoing of Shaman Hooper.
Yeah, coming to crease now is Dylan Douglas for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good running by the pair to close out over number one. At the end of it, it is 16 for 1.
Well, at 16 for 1, the Vincentians getting off to a brisk start, but I think Grenada will be happy to know that they have gotten rid of the informed Shaman Hooper. A number of the players in the top order in the St. Vincent side have been doing excellently in the competition, and Hooper being one of those players. I think he got a 94 in the last preliminary match, Hooper, and would have been in good form, but having to go in the first over this time. So even Stevens after 1 over.
Yeah, certainly would have wanted to lose a wicket, St. Vincent and Grenadines, but the run still came for them. It's going to be Amikel Dubisset to come from the Malcolm Marshall end now to pair Nicholas Redhead. He'll be hoping that he can follow up things for them, keep things tight here at the start. Still the power play overs. We're into over number 2. Yeah, certainly not what Dubisset would have wanted to start with. He's done quite well for this Grenada side also with the ball. He's picked up 7 wickets in this tournament, just over 5 and over. So he's kept things tight, especially at the start for Grenada. But beyond that, he's picked up wickets, and they'll be hoping I can do that here again in this big final.
Workman like medium fast bowler, medium pacer.
Yeah, he certainly is one of those heavy set bowlers. And he will enjoy the conditions here at Kensington also. I had a chance to see him when he was bowling at Lears, and he enjoyed the surface there because of the bounce on offer. Not as much grass on this surface here at Kensington, but the bounce factor is still there for him. And I do know that the seamers that will bowl here would also enjoy this Kensington surface.
Very hard surface here at Kensington.
That's going to be runs. Pulled back just inside that deep mid-wicket boundary. Probably not getting the timing that he would have wanted on that shot. More so the power for Brown.
Very long boundary on that side of the ground. As I mentioned, we're playing on the westernmost strip on the square at Kensington. So making that boundary out there even longer, the shorter boundary towards the offside as Brown faces up, Dylan faces up, right-hander from the bowler coming from the southern end.
Just keeping that outside the off-stump line. The 2 men outside for Dubisset at the moment in terms of the circle, the man at third man, and a man sweeping on the cover boundary. So in terms of where he would want to keep majority of its deliveries, it will be outside of that off stump.
Also looking to bowl length, not get too full with the mid-off and the mid-off inside the circle.
Getting away with one there. Had he left it, it certainly would have been called wide. He's been flirting with that wide line across this over.
Dylan Douglas, as I mentioned before the start of the match, my player of the series so far, has been in ripping form.
Certainly has been one of the stars with the bat for them has Brown. He came into this with 277 runs Highest, as you mentioned, 103 not out in this game. But not just that 103 not out, he's had 3 not outs across this tournament. He's carried his bat quite well for them. I talked about the fact that they've batted a lot first and put on some very imposing totals, and they will hope that he can carry his bat here again today and help them up to what will be another good target. Thought of one, won't get it, sent back. The end of 2. It's 21 for 1.
Well, the good over there by Dubisset. Steady stuff from him. I did concede a 3 off the very first delivery, but ever since then, he's been able to hit that line, that desired line, with the field that he has set of just back of a length around that off stump. Sometimes a bit wide, but again, not the batsman not able to take advantage of anything loose, and decent first over for him.
Yeah, certainly exactly what the captain would have wanted from it, especially against this St. Vincent side, who start quite well when batting first across this tournament. Power play score is usually above 50 for them.
So Redhead, fresh from that wicket, with the final delivery of his first over. He's quite buoyed by that.
Certainly would have done the confidence a world of good. And beautiful scenes of Kensington Oval there. But he's picked up his 5th wicket so far in this tournament. Looking for a 6th is Redhead. Confusion once again with that running all across this tournament. We've talked about the running and how some teams have run well. Grenada is an example of a team that have communicated quite well in this tournament and ran well. St. Vincent and Grenadines, 2 interesting moments. Just 4 deliveries apart, where small little chances for run-outs, and all because of communication. Having a swing at that one with Salvin Brown. He's been striking it just under 150 in this tournament. Got a massive 115 not out versus the Cayman Islands. Did Brown.
A bit over exuberant from Brown, wanting to hit that one, going for power rather than.
Connects with this one, but it just goes sky high. And it's dropped. It is floored. It is put down.
So well, you can almost tell when a fielder is confident about what he is doing, because the fielder there from cover, extra cover, came in. That ball was in the air for a long time, and at no point did I get the feeling that he was comfortable. Lyndon Lawrence there coming in from extra cover, and ended up with hard hands, ball high in the air, looking to drag this one into the onside. The ball spiraling away to the off, and Lawrence coming in, never getting himself in a position, hard hands. The ball bouncing away. I did have a chance on the second bite, but unable to hold on to get there.
A second chance this time, and it is held. A fantastic catch to get rid of the danger man of Dylan Douglas.
Undone by the bounce and pace of Redhead once again. This one again, short delivery, rising up towards the chest, and choked, looking for that hook shot for the second time, beating for pace, offering the catch on the opposite side of the pitch this time. The man there at mid-wicket, and the ball over his head, having to run back somewhat, and keeping his eyes on it, but the Salvin Brown, who would have been one of the leading St. Vincent and the Grenadines batters, having to go back to the pavilion. Both openers dismissed. Here we see Redhead, this time up much closer to the body, looking for the pull shot, and the fielder just at the edge of the circle, going back, keeping his eyes on it quite well, leaping up to his right, and tumbling once, taking that catch, and spawning spontaneous celebrations among the Grenadians.
The end of another successful over for Niklas Redhead. It's 23 for 2.
Well, Captain Desron Maloney, in a bit earlier than he would have wanted, losing 2 wickets inside 3 overs, 2 wickets down in the power play is never desirable, but excellent stuff from a Redhead. Tall, as you said, extracting good bounce and good pace from a hard Kensington track. Not a lot of grass, as we pointed out, but one that has been offering some assistance to the faster bowler, in this case Redhead, and twice undoing the St. Vincent batters. Should have had Brown caught in the cover area, the delivery before, but coming back and getting rid of Douglas, the informed Douglas. So very, very good strike, crucial strike, I would think.
The keeper standing up to the stump now for Dubiset, keeping Salvin Brown in his crease. And we know that Brown is somebody that likes to get out there, likes to take the attack to the bowlers. You would have to say that is good thinking cricket at the moment from Grenada. I mentioned the fact that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have batted well once they've batted first in this tournament, but under pressure. And the pressure continues. Fantastic follow-up from Dubiset after that over from Redhead.
Well, good bowling there by Dubiset. That one zipping back in off the track from outside the off and striking Brown somewhere high on the thigh. I think that was one to the extras.
A lot on the shoulders of Desron Maloney today. Looked a close shout, had that hit, but I do think he would have been quite safely home. Maloney started with opening the batting at one point in this tournament, and he too has done well for them coming into this game with 145 runs. 103 not out versus BVI. Outside of that BVI game though, he hasn't really shined in the way that he would have wanted. A 28 in there along with a 6, a 6 and a 3. So outside of that 103, he's not really come to the party. But he too is a very important link to the puzzle for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And if they follow those 2 early wickets, they would hope that their skipper could show up when I guess it matters most in the final.
Well, Maloney, one of 3 players in the Windward Island side with first-class and List A experience. Some 5 first-class matches for the Windwards, 9 List A matches.
Oh, that looked good. And it is good all the way good it is.
Oh, that is a big shot played there by Brown. Not right into the slot from Dubiset, but getting himself in excellent position. Brown.
Closes it out with a dot ball, 31 for 2.
Well, the Vincentians are continuing to score and keep the scoring rate ticking over, despite the loss of those 2 early wickets. Dubiset just strings, but I wouldn't even say string. I think it was the innovation of the batter Brown that really accounted for that boundary, because he did move himself into a very good position, giving himself some room and playing the ball off the track, trusting the bounce, and lifting it over mid-off.
It's certainly a surface that you can play your shots on, go through the line of the ball more often than not. The first signs of movement that we've seen for the afternoon there from Nicholas Redhead, just back of a length and shaping away from the right-hander. We haven't seen the ball do much so far for the day. Interesting to see as we go along whether or not that continues for Redhead. And obviously, you know that you probably won't get the ball swinging much into what will be the middle overs of this game. Just short, agonizingly short of cover there.
Hitting it cleanly, getting good contact. Ball traveling in the air. Roland Cato, I think it is there in the covers. Keeping it under control. There he is, Roland Cato, one of the Grenadian players who has had an extended first-class career for the Windwards. Call Roland Cato doing excellently against the Barbados team here a few years back.
Opting for power again is Salmon Brown, but can't get it where he's looking. I see his eyes are looking to the heavens on top of that Greenwich and Haynes stand.
Getting away somewhat, Redhead, because had that ball traveled anywhere a yard or either left or right, it certainly would have been 4.
Gets it over and gets a boundary for himself.
Well, if you don't get it through, you get it over. And this time, choosing the aerial route to a similar delivery and reaping the benefits of the fast outfield here at Kensington Oval. There's a man at deep square leg, but he never had a chance. But Redhead persisting with this short of a length bowling, and Brown very much on the back foot. There with his weight on the back foot, almost.
Oh, certainly got away with that one to close out 5 overs. After 5, it is 36 for 2.
Well, Salvin Brown, a couple of short deliveries there. He would have hoped that he could have done better. Picked up a few more runs, but Redhead after 3 overs, 2 for 22. Still doing some good work for the Grenadians. 36 for 2 after 5. Still think game still fairly even. The exchanges inside the power play, or inside the first 5 overs at least, Grenadians will be happy to pick up a couple of wickets. As I say, good afternoon to Andrew Mason.
How are you, sir?
I am very well.
Good. So the action is interesting, you're right. That big fish in Douglas gone, what a wicket to get. So the action continues. Good sharp single in the onside. St. Vincent and the Grenadines being inserted, 37 for 2. And we've had a situation where Redhead has been good. He's picked up 2 wickets for 22. And Ducetti, who's bowling, it is the 3rd over, none for 13. So 37 for 2, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 2 of the better teams in the competition coming through for the finals. Good, clever cricket. Push away in the offside for one. I suppose that this is the time just to settle the innings down, particularly with the loss of Douglas. Maloney, the captain, is a very important cog in their wheel. So smart cricket by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The rate is just over 7, but that's not important. Just want to get through this little period. Don't lose any wickets. And once Maloney is there, along with people like Denver and Walker and Martin, you never know. St. Vincent can get a good score. But at the moment, I would think that Grenada will be quite happy.
One of the better balanced batting sides, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines team, you notice that they've been able to make runs, but whenever they run into problems during the tournament, you would have seen the lower and middle order coming to the party. The likes of Stapleton and Othniel Lewis in particular have done very well in the later part of their innings.
Yeah, Lewis did very well against Barbados. It was a match-winning innings. But this is very good control from Rossetti, who's been bang on target. In fact, he's produced in this over 5 balls, but just 3 singles, and we want to finish strongly here.
Well, yes, what he has done is notice that Brown in particular very strong on the pull shot and the cut shot, and he's managed to get to operate at a much fuller length around that off stump.
Very good bowling indeed. Bang on target, just 3 from the over, 6 gone. It's 39 for 2.
Well, that's the power play. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines are kept in check somewhat by this Grenada side, but excellent over there by Dubuisset, keeping Brown rather quiet. Brown looking to make room and on a number of occasions looking to get leg side of the ball, and Dubuisset watching his man and keeping and following him with that final delivery of the third over, and continuing to be quite intriguing stuff. The early stages of a boxing match, Andrew, where the opponents were more or less sparring with each other before opening up in the middle rounds.
So the new bowler is Josh Thomas, and of course he's had the experience of playing for the Windwards. Normally opens the bowling, but now will bowl over number 7.
Hasn't been a great big wicket taker in this tournament, Thomas, but has had a couple of good spells. Picked up a couple of wickets. Was fairly expensive in the semi-final against Trinidad and Tobago. These two teams, I guess we can argue, are basically the 2 best teams that we've seen in the tournament, Andrew.
I agree with that. And the standard of the cricket has been rather high. So we start over number 7. It's Thomas. Bowling to Maloney. Starts very well with the one right in the block hole.
From what we've seen so far of him, not the type like a redhead who is going to be banging the ball into the pitch. He tends to get the ball on a fuller length, looking for some movement, I suspect, looking to get that ball to swing through the air and maybe off the seam.
So this has been a good period for the bowling side ever since the departure of Douglas, who is such a dangerous player. And that happens sometimes when you lose your big gun. There's an element of caution. And ever since then, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been very good. And that rate is now 6.32.
punting situation there. It was a wide, the ball got away from the keeper, and the batters choosing to go through for a sharp single. The return, missing the stumps at the striker's end would have been quite interesting had that ball been able to connect. But Thomas would want to continue the good work the new ball pair have put in for Grenada so far.
That's it straight. Well, good work in that they mid on is deepish, able to come around, just a single. So this is good bowling by Thomas.
Basically bowling to his field. He's got the long off and the long on in place, and asking the batsman to hit straight down the ground.
So we've had 3 runs already in the Barbados game in the semi-finals. Against St. Vincent, there were as many as 16, and in 1 over there were 7. The runner was not that aggressive. They might have thought of 2 there.
Erring on the side of being full again, Thomas. And Charles looking to heave it away, not making the kind of contact that he would have wanted. Good work, though, by the fielder there at long on, moving swiftly around to his right and keeping the scoring down to just the single.
The Vincentians will be very sharp in the field. They look very fit, very well drilled. And one of the things about this competition that we've seen good fielding from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and of course the Grenadines as well.
And to compare the grounds that they would have played leading up to this final, they are going to certainly enjoy the surface here at Kensington Oval.
Yeah, you're right about that. Last ball of the over. And this is good bowling by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Just 5 from the over, 7 gone. It's 44 for 2.
Good start by Josh Thomas, generally operating on a full length and bowling to his field more or less. And this period of rebuilding for the Vincentians continues. You mentioned Captain Maloney, very experienced player, and he is going to want to see the team through these middle overs. St. Vincent with a very strong finish in most of the games they have played when that was necessary. They've also been very strong at the top. The likes of Brown, Hooper, Douglas, Maloney, and Rickford Walker, who he's also had a knock or 2.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been very positive. And they've played good cricket. There's no doubt about that. We've had, as I said, a high standard. So the action continues. We start over number 8 now. But that's a bad delivery. And it's been put away. Well played indeed by Brown. It was short, it was wide. And that's gone down to backward point for 4. Well played.
Well, that's an invitation that Brown is not going to refuse. We have seen his technique is one where he tends to want to get leg side of the ball. He likes when the ball is short. And that was an easy offering. Short, wide, innocuous, and I think to be set for once, getting it wrong.
Another good shot. 4 more. To the right of third man. Well played indeed. Another delivery that the batsman had the room. Well played, Brown.
Well, the line wasn't bad, but the length was wrong. It was short outside the short coming in to Brown and showing good improvisation. Again, that movement back towards the leg side, opening up the offside and getting it away wide of the third man fielder to bring up the 50 of 47 deliveries in over number 8.
There were 6 fours and a 6. Interesting that the captain is elected to go with Giuseppe for 3 straight. In fact, this is his last over. And looks possibly a bit tired. His length is not where it should be. Let's see what happens here with this delivery. We've had some 8 runs from the first 2 balls. And he decides to go full. That's a much better length. And line right in that middle stump, just a single.
A tendency that I have noticed among some of the captains in this tournament to extend the opening spells of the new ball bowlers. I always think that it's always a good idea to get your top bowlers when they're fresh and hold them back, for the middle and lower end of the innings. But it has been a tendency that a number of captains have opted to go that route.
No runs here for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They'll get 2. He's offline, goes down to backward square. It's been a good over for them so far. Against 2 balls are left. 11 runs already with the 2 boundaries.
Signs of a bowler who was a bit flagging towards the end of a spell, a 4-over spell. And he's gotten, there he was on the leg stump with only 3 fielders in the onside. He's also gone short outside the off stump.
Yeah, he looks a bit tired. Of course, it's been tough in relation to the days having to play, fully understand. And you've got to be up for the task. But this is his last ball. And overall, he's bowled pretty okay. There's no doubt about that. He's going to bowl his last ball. He's conceded 26 so far. Just a single. But overall, it's been a good over for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 12 coming from the over, 8 gone. It's 56 for a loss of 2.
Well, yes, that move to keep Duisset going for a 4th consecutive over, not really paying off. You can see him straying away from the established pattern that he had worked up to that particular stage. And this pair gradually beginning to break the shackles somewhat. I think batting intelligently though.
Yeah.
Especially Maloney. More authentic type batter.
Well, he's faced 15 balls for his 8. But at 23 for 2 losing Douglas, I think you can understand his approach here. Here's Thomas to continue. And that goes through. We'll get a second comfortably, and they do. Feel it cover. Not able to pull it back.
So let's have a look at the field. There's a 3rd man on the boundary. There's a backward point. The sweeper is right back at cover. There's an extra cover at the edge of the circle. Long off, long on, mid-wicket saving 1, deep forward square, and a short 3rd man.
Now that's hit with tremendous power. That's gone over mid-wicket. That's gone for 6. Very well played by the captain. Banged in short and pulled away. Well played.
Into the empty Greenwich and Haynes stand. Ill-advised delivery from Thomas. He has been operating on that full good length all along and going into the mud. With the batter hitting to the shorter boundary, is always taking a risk. The bowler going short from this particular end.
Good crowd has gathered. Just a single. Cover coming forward quickly to just limit them to 1. Thomas was very angry with himself when he bowled that short ball that was pulled away. But this is a good partnership. In fact, at one stage it was 23 for 2. They've added 42 precious runs, and they've kept that rate up around 7.5. Of course, with people like Lewis and Bibby to come towards the end, they want to give them a platform to launch a final assault.
Another fielder pushed back into the deep, man gone into the corner pocket.
Very good change of pace. Rolling the fingers over that. And Brown just rather dragging it down towards that long on air off the bottom of the bat. Of course, in T20 cricket, the slow ball is very effective. And we've said on so many occasions that slow ball started a long time ago with a man called Franklin Stevenson from Barbados, a long, long time ago.
Even before T20 cricket, Andrew.
Long before T20 cricket. So Thomas, learning from his mistake on a good Kensington pitch, bowling short, swung away for 6, has now decided to bowl a different length. It's fuller, and it's been much better. And we want to finish this over strongly, the one to come, but it's been a good over for St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. They've had 11 from it. The last over cost 12. So a good period for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Here's Thomas with his last ball of his second over. Now that will go for 4. It was on the leg stump, full, and very well played indeed by Brown. A very good over for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. From the over, 15 came. And at the end of over number 9, it's 71 for 2.
Well, Thomas going from 2 short to 2 full. And that was an inviting full toss, as you mentioned, on the leg stump. And although there's been that extra man pushed back on the rope on the onside, finding that gap away to his right was Brown. And generally, he has been kept quiet with the full delivery, but that one was out then much too full. Haven't seen any spin so far.
We will get some now.
I think I'm beginning to see signs.
With Dusevi completing his 4 overs, nobody's done for 27.
Look at the Trinidadian group of the Trinidadian players, Andrew, painfully edged out of that semi-final up with the last ball.
Yep.
A game that went right down to the wire. 12 runs needed off the final 3 overs. The bowler having already picked up a couple of wickets. And then in comes the captain, Campbell. 6-4-2.
And that was it. That was that.
Yep.
What a performance from them. But very good semi-finals. 2 wickets off the first 2 balls. So we start over number 9 now. And Jeremiah is going to come into the attack. So we've got spin for the first time today. Lovely weather in Bridgetown. Brilliant sunshine. And to go with a gentle breeze coming across Kensington Oval. That's going to be called a wide. That was almost bowling the other pitch there.
Allowed a delivery to find his range, the new bowler. Johan Jeremiah, some 6 wickets in the tournament.
Started well.
Economy rate of 6.5 runs per over. So he's operating with a short third man, a backward point, and a cover, all saving 1 inside the circle. Then there's a sweep at deep square cover and a long off. Long on, mid wicket, deep square leg, and a short fine leg.
We'll get a single to bring up the 50 partnership. And what a partnership between these two. Because at one stage it was 23 for 2, but they've steadied the rocking ship. And 50 partnership, very well done. Brown making 26 of the runs, Maloney 19.
42 deliveries.
That's going to be called a wide. Good intelligent batting from these two. Working the ball around, and when the boundary ball comes along, they've put it away. That's another wide. Wow. And 1 over in the semi-finals when Barbados played There were 7 in 1 over.
Stiff breeze coming across the right shoulder of the bowler.
That's it straight. Very good work indeed on that long on, limiting to 2.
At least he managed to get that one on the target. Good work by the tall redhead there at long on.
So the attack from Jeremiah is to be outside the off stump. And he's just conceded 6, but he's had 3 wides. Last ball, the oval, want to finish strongly here. Just a single, got away with a full toss. So we reach the halfway stage of the St. Vincent and Grenadines innings. 10 gone, 78 for 2. And it certainly gives us time to reflect on what has happened so far. The rate Wayne Hold is 7.80. They've lost Douglas for 4 and Hooper for 12. But Brown, 34 from 29 balls, has done a good job. And Maloney, the captain, 19 from 22. They've added 55 and in a broken stand for wicket number 3. And at the moment, 78 for 2. It's not a situation where they've lost a lot of wickets where they're 78 for 4. So they will want, of course, to be calculated and try possibly to launch an assault maybe in the last 5. How do you assess it? 78 for 2.
Well, good situational awareness, I think, from this pair, Brown and the captain, Maloney. Just calming the situation after the helter-skelter start and losing 2 early wickets and batting very, very intelligently, to quote your words, and doing exactly what the team ordered. The innings required some rebuilding, some consolidation. They have done that. They have seen their team back into a relatively safe position, and I think that, with wickets in hand, they'll be able to allowed to put their foot down on the accelerator and look to push on in the second half of their innings. I'm on the side of the Grenadians, and good spell by the new ball from Nicholas Redhead. Dubisette was good for his first 3 overs and tended to stray during his 4th and final over, while Josh Thomas has been there or thereabouts, and we just saw the 1 over from Jeremiah. So again, I think this game continues to be one evenly poised, with the Vincentians looking to prise their hands out of the mouth of a lion. You know, the say when you want to take, if you're going to hand is in the lion's mouth, you must remove it slowly. And this pair have done excellently for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So even Stevens in the first 10 over. As I hand over to Joel Manning, he will be joining you, Andrew.
All right. Well, of course, Joel comes a call in. And yeah, in terms of the performance from Redhead, 2 for 22 has been good in this tournament. As you said, Giuseppe might not have bowled the last over, and he looked a bit tired. But I love the atmosphere at Kensington Oval for the finals of the regional Police T20, and it's been very good cricket for the last week or so. And speaking to the players, they've enjoyed themselves in Barbados, and in fact a lot of them went to a famous festival in Barbados, the Oystins Fish Festival, which continues today, and always a lot to do at this time of the year. Hello, Joel. How do you see it? 78 for 2.
Hello, Andrew Mason. Hello once again to our viewers. 78 for 2. I would say that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have pulled themselves back into this contest. Looking at that power play score, the 39 for 2. Lovely to see that many have once again joined us for this final. The crowds have certainly come to all the venues that we've played at, whether or not it's Weymouth, BNOC, Lears, and here today for the final at Kensington Oval. But yeah, once again, just in terms of that power play score, it was the lowest that they've had in this entire tournament at 39 for 2, but then they were able to get 39 runs between over number 6 and 10, and it puts them at what I have to say is a very good position, especially when you think back to that semi-final where at 10 overs they were 72 for 4 and managed to get 171 onto the board. So I have to say that a good fight back by St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but certainly even poised today here in this final at Kensington. So the first signs of Daryl Cyrus for the day, leg spin being brought into the contest. He'll be bowling from the Joel Garner end. Not a good start for him, but just how St. Vincent and Grenadines would want to start the second half.
You're right, it was far too wide really, and plenty of space on the offside, and that went down to a backward point very quickly. Of course, they would welcome the conditions at Kensington Oval. Too wide and put away. That went across the outfield like a shot from a gun. No chance of pulling that back. Very well played indeed by Brown.
One thing we've been able to note from Cyrus across this tournament, especially in what would be the first over that he's usually bowled, he's usually been flat and quicker. And funny enough, he's usually actually employed in the final over of the power play by Grenada. This time around, they opted for Johan Jeremiah to bowl in what would have been that similar phase, or rather, in fact, it was Dubisset that bowled out his overs. But usually they go to Cyrus to bowl that final over the power play, set the tone for them into what will be the next phase of the game. And I mentioned the fact that he's usually by far flatter and faster. We're seeing that here as well. And there's an injury now out there on the field. We saw one go down at the very first delivery, and that magic spray that we talk about comes out. Josh Thomas, it is. He's going to have a job to do for Grenada coming on to the back end. Just 2 overs bowled by him so far. So they'll be hoping that nothing serious out there. The tall, fast bowler in Thomas, just taking on some fluid. It's relatively hot out there as well. Cool where we are in the shade of the 3W's pavilion, or rather 3W stand. But conditions, you would have to say, kind of hot out there for the players at the moment, Andrew.
Yep, and let's hope everything goes well for him. Josh Thomas, he's important in the bowling lineup. He's already bowled 2 overs, maybe just a bit of cramp. He's getting some attention. As you said, it's hot. Fluids are so important to be hydrated. But he's down at that short third man area. Let's hope he's okay. As you know, he's had the experience of playing for not only Grenada, but for the Windwards as well. Tall and rangy. And Adler's on a pitch that certainly offered a great deal of bounce. He bowled pretty well.
He's back on his feet, and we're ready to get things going again. Ball in the hand of Daryl Cyrus. He's gone at just around 6 and over in this tournament as Cyrus, and I was talking to the fact that usually he's by far flatter and faster, but he bowls that holding role for Grenada, looking to string together some dot balls, build the pressure. And you would have to say he's doing that just now. An easy single in the end for them, but into what has been a good over for him. Take away that first delivery whereby he was just too flat and fast and rather outside of the Austin ball, so the width is what allowed the batter to capitalize on it. But take that away, and this has been a good over from him.
Had to make the adjustment with the batsman Brown coming down the pitch. And instead of going wide, he bowled at the middle stump. Just a single. Good work by Cyrus. We want to finish strongly here.
Well, this could be a chance. In fact, dropping well short. So 2 runs to close out the 11th. It's 87 for 2.
And I suppose considering where 4 runs came from the first ball. He was able to pull it back, just 5 from the next 5. And in the end, a pretty decent over. But overall, I like the way St. Vincent and the Grenadines are approaching this. 11 gone, the 87 for 2. The rate is 7.91, but they're not losing wickets. And we'll be hoping, if possible, for people like Lewis, who played such an important innings for them against Barbados, to come and launch that final assault. And I would think at the moment, they'll be having visions of making, I would think possibly, if they can get there, maybe 160, 170. We shall see.
Oh, that will just trickle away into the boundary. And the runs, they're still coming for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, he used his feet to the spin of Jeremiah and played it deliberately over the top of extra cover. Got to the pitch, that was important. And that was a very good shot by Brown, who's now 6 shy of his half century. And he's batted very well here.
So interesting that we're talking about the possibility for a half century for Salvin Brown when he was dropped on just 4 in over 2.3. And you always wondered how much would he make Grenada pay for that mistake in the 3rd over of the day. And he's certainly piled on the runs since then.
Looks a pretty tired shot from Maloney. He's got to fight away for his country. He is the captain of the side. He's had the experience of playing for the Windwards as well.
Probably gets away with one there.
Must have been very close to a wide. Maloney looked a bit surprised that the umpire didn't call it.
Call that one the spectator's catch there.
So just 5 from the over. It's been a good over so far by Jeremiah.
Closed it out quite nicely. It's 92 for 2.
Yeah, and a good over. 5 runs coming. Last ball was wide. And Maloney was looking to chop it square in the offside. But good cat and mouse game here. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force have been able to recover in an unbroken stand of 69 for wicket number 3, thanks to the captain, who's found a very good partner in Brown. And that rate is still at 7.67. They'll want to increase that, of course, but they've got wickets in hand.
Ticks along quite nicely. Again, Brown, he's certainly be setting himself up for what could be a possible launch into the back end of his innings if he can continue batting. This pair of Cyrus and Jeremiah operating at the moment, Grenada will be hoping that they can start to pull things back for them, apply a bit of pressure. As I mentioned, Cyrus is that control bowler, Jeremiah as well. And that probably was a chance for a stumping. So Brown gets another life on 46. He got a life on 4, gets a life on 46. Just have to wonder, looking back at this, had they taken Brown, what could this scorecard have looked like this afternoon when we began? Gets on the dancing shoes, but nothing from it. 13 gone, it's 96 for 2.
Another good over. The last over cost 5, and this one 4. So this has been a very good piece of cricket by the bowlers here. Cyrus has had a good tournament, as we've said. 2 overs costing 12, and Jeremiah, his 2 overs costing 12 as well.
Yeah, I mentioned the fact that this pair for them is that control pair, and I think back to that semi-final, especially with Johan Jeremiah and his control in that one for Grenada. He picked up 1, but his 4 just went for 28, especially that final over that he had to bowl to Lendl Simmons as well, a very important one. I think probably only went for 7 that final over, so we'll be hoping that he can do something similar here today, apply a bit of pressure, probably force the default shot. Persisting with that line outside of the off stump. And it prompts now a change in guard for Desron Maloney. No batting on off stump to get a bit closer to access that offside. And you just wondered if it would prompt a change maybe in the line from Jeremiah, ever so slightly going a bit straighter. You just have to think that the pressure is starting to build here against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They haven't been able to find the boundaries as often since over number 10. Well, this one goes up. And 2 to Brown. And also a no ball, so it will be a free hit. He's now on to 49, so a gift for him to get to what will be a 50 in the final of the Regional Police Cricket Tournament. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic by Johan Jeremiah. Getting it full into the block hole, exactly where he would have wanted it. $50 for Salvin Browner. It's certainly been a fantastic knock by him. Yes, there were some chances, but he's carried his hand and done the job for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. His second 50 of this Regional Police Cricket Tournament. Closes out another Johan Jeremiah over after 14, 102 for 2.
And these are the moments that are important. The last 3 overs have been very, very good for the bowling side. Grenada has been able to pull things back. And yes, they're at the crease. No wickets falling, but it's not a situation where they get in 10 and 12 from the over. It's been an average about 5. And it's going to be interesting to see, as we start over number 14, what tactics will the batting side, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, do now? Will they look to up the ante? Will they just work it around and maybe wait for another over or 2? We shall see.
Well, wickets are in hand for them, so they certainly have that bit of a cushion under them. And I certainly think at this stage, it's probably a case of looking to kick on with the fact that wickets are there. 8 wickets for them. Josh Thomas, he's going to be coming back into the attack. Just 2 overs so far from him. Now into bowl his third, in fact. No. So for a second he was standing at the top of his mark. But looking back very quickly at the semi-final for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they got 99 runs in the last 10 overs in that semi-final. 40 runs coming between overs 10 and 15, and then 59 runs between overs number 15 to 20. They haven't done that just yet here in this innings in terms of that 10 to 15 mark. So It questions where do they now set themselves up for that final target. 102 on the board, 6 overs left. And it's going to be Darryl Cyrus to continue. And he's bowled him. But between the leg stump has rocked back. And Cyrus strikes.
Indeed, he just got the feeling that the pressure was beginning to build here. In fact, the last boundary would have been the first ball of the 12th over. And Captain Maloney had difficulty in negotiating the balls wide of the off stump. And I suppose he felt that something had to give. And a good old heave-ho. And that's an important wicket to get. I think Grenada have done well. Given a fair amount of air. And he swung across it and lost his leg stump. Beautifully bowled indeed by Cyrus. Missed it completely and his leg stump disturbed.
Yeah, he's got to go for 25 from 35 deliveries. It's 102 for 3. Certainly the breakthrough that Grenada wanted. I talked about the fact that they've been building that pressure between Cyrus and Jeremiah, bowling quite well in tandem this pair, and that's exactly what Grenada needed for them to kind of pull things back in their favor. You always knew that that dot ball pressure would force the matter, as we see there once again, just getting it down in the block hole, getting himself in a bit of a tangle there was Desron Maloney, going across it, and he paid the ultimate price, the price of his wicket. So success for them. And coming to the crease now is Benetton Stapleton.
A left-hander who hits the ball powerfully, as we saw when he played in one of the earlier matches at Weymouth. And very interesting stage here in this match. 102 for 3. They've not been able to get away, the Vincentians. The rate is 7.20.
Off the mark immediately. Won't get to, but yes, certainly Stapleton has been their go-to man when it came to finding the boundaries. You mentioned those innings that he's played. He got a 44 off 19 versus Trinidad and Tobago, and then a 36 off 13 versus Antigua and Barbuda. So he certainly packs a punch, does Stapleton. Strikes at over 200 in this tournament. They'll be hoping that he can get off here in partnership with Brown, who's certainly done the work for them so far. And a double strike. Cyrus is off to the races again.
Yeah, the pressure building, no doubt about that. Something had to give. The rate is 7.10. It's all well and good to have wickets, but you still have to keep scoring. And good bowling. This has been an excellent performance by Grenada. And the two spinners have really come into the attack, and they've done an extremely good job. Cyrus, very clever, and Jeremiah. In fact, he's only conceded 18 from his 3. And you just got the feeling that Brown and Maloney felt that they had to go for it. Down the pitch, missing it, and losing his middle stump in spectacular fashion. But what was good about that delivery was the length, the line as well. Beautifully flighted. And there was the batsman gone. So this sets up an interesting situation now with the 2 new batsmen at the crease.
Yeah, certainly. Brown, he went for 50. 103 for 4 they are now, as Rickford Walker is the new batter. And certainly an interesting time for them to come together at the crease. 1 where they're looking at runs, but 2 a case of looking to ensure that they do not lose any more quick wickets here. An interesting stage of the game we're at, into over number 15. I think that St. Vincent and Grenadines probably missed a little trick in terms of how they went about batting the pair of Jeremiah and Cyrus, because we know that they've come to play that holding role, and I guess it was a case of just having to work them around, especially in that last over there, more so from Brown, because I figured that Brown had to be that person to bat through for them, probably into maybe about 17 or 18 for them and play that anchor role, especially after the start that he got, and let the others kind of bat around him at the moment. And it was just a case of playing that false shot, coming down when he didn't have to, losing the wicket and kind of opening the game back up at a stage whereby even though they just lost the wicket of Desron Maloney, they were still pretty much in control. Now you have to tell yourself that they've kind of let Grenada back into this encounter and they could kind of start to squeeze a bit because these batters have to take a little time maybe to get going. See a couple deliveries. The end of 15, 5 to go in this first innings, 106 for 4.
And the thing about it is that we've had a situation where in that over, 4 runs came, 2 wickets fell. So very good cricket indeed from Grenada. I'm sure we know who he's supporting. I'm just trying to work out basically the looks of Stapleton. And I'm just trying to look at someone in the Caribbean that he bats like. And I think of Ridley Jacobs. He looks, his stroke play like Ridley Jacobs. Good crowd is gathered here, enjoying Kensington Oval, the region's Mecca. And they're having a good time. Some of the Barbadians, I see Ryan Nurse, former Barbados fast bowler, having a drink. And some of the police players from Barbados are there.
Jeremiah now into his final over, and it's certainly been a fantastic spell for him. I mentioned the fact that this partnership, this pair between himself and Cyrus have done the job for Grenada. He's into his last. You would have to tell yourself here that, yes, you're looking for runs. The angle here favors Benettel Stapleton, who is someone that goes at the ball, but he would also not want to give his wicket away here.
Very much like Ridley Jacobs, the way he bats. Have a look at him.
Once again, I think just missing the trick here, looking for that power and not necessarily looking to work the ball around because the runs haven't been coming, they haven't been flowing for them. Yeah, looking into that leg side field, the fact that there's a ring in terms of that man, a deep square leg, the deep mid wicket, the man long on. There's a lot of vacant space over there. So also the factor for twos coming in here, but I think just missing a slight trick here, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, when you consider that we've not had a 4-0 since the 12th over, the first ball, the 12th over. We're now into over number 16. This is very good cricket in the part of the field inside Grenada. They've done very well here.
This could be another one. It is indeed, and Jeremiah, he comes to the party. He picks up his first.
Yeah, tremendous pressure. It was a full toss. Stapleton didn't time it at all and popped it down towards that extra cover area. But, you know, 2 things have happened here. One, the rate is 6.81, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're also losing wickets, so double trouble for them. And this really represents a very good show on the part of Grenada. They won the toss, they decided to field, and I would think that when you look at the overall position, Grenada will be quite happy. Full delivery, and coming from the toe end of the bat as well. Fielder keeping his eyes on the ball, pouting it. And I think they would also recognize that that is an important wicket because, as you said, in terms of the stats, Stapleton can be a pretty dangerous player.
Yeah, certainly a very dangerous customer. Dangerous campaigner with Stapleton. They'll be happy to see the back of him. He's gone for 3, 109 for 5. 16 overs have been bowled in this contest. We're into the business end of this innings. what can St. Vincent and the Grenadines put on the board? What would they be happy defending? Probably telling themselves that 10 and over from here gets them to 149. Would they be happy with that? I don't think so.
Well, they're not going to get it if they play like that.
Make that a wicket number 3. Darryl Cyrus, he is turning up, and he is turning up to the fire.
Yeah, not very smart at all on the part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You're losing wickets. You're not going to make 190. Look, the best thing here would be to just work the ball around, try to get 140, 150 and work with that. He's been simply just a victim of his own indiscretion, and the Grenadines are enjoying themselves in the sunshine of the region's Mecca. That was an awful shot. And now St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're in big, big trouble here. 109 for 6. And when you see the replay of that dismissal, I don't think the batsman, Walker, will want to see it in primetime sports tonight.
Yeah, just so interesting that they were looking to pull Cyrus from the attack. The ball was in the hand of Josh Thomas. They said, Josh Thomas, no, have it back. And here we see Cyrus just pushing that one through, going across what was a by far flatter delivery. So it wasn't there in terms of the length. It wasn't there in terms of the line to play that shot. And, well, he's seen his stumps disturbed. Success for Cyrus. Joy for Grenada.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, they've got Abraham, who's come up to bat now. Sensibly pushes the ball away into the onside to get 1. But from here, you know, you're 110 for 6. You know, just try and work it around. Don't lose wickets and try to get to 140 or 150 if you can.
Oh, and that was a chance. It was struck hard by off Neil Lewis, but a chance goes down again.
Well, he was the man who came out in the semi-finals against Barbados and got 34. And that, in my view, was the innings that won the match for his country.
Yeah, certainly Lewis was the deciding factor for them in that semi-final. He, in fact, got 48 off of 27 not out, which helped them to post at 171. It was some good clean striking, but he picked his deliveries quite well in that semi-final. Here's why I said I think that they missed the trick in terms of how they've gone about the middle overs of this innings. Because they got into a bit of a rut, did St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and from there they start to beat themselves, or rather sought to beat themselves out of that position. What they did was open up things here for Grenada to really squeeze them and restrict them to something even smaller than what they were hoping for.
Well, he chopped that ball off the middle stump. He's a lucky man. Played against the turn there and got a run. But this has been very good work on the part of Cyrus. He's bowled beautifully.
Yeah, certainly a fantastic spell for him comes to an end. 114 for 6 after 17. But Cyrus, 4 overs, 3 for 21. Absolutely fantastic. His team was looking for him to string together some deliveries, build some pressure. He got that with the dot balls. And then once he built that pressure, he capitalized on the mistakes made by St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of the shot making at this stage. So 114 for 6.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens from there on. I see our friend from Grenada who's been with us. The Grenada flag very much in evidence. Having a good time at the region's Mecca. Always good to come to Kensington Oval, I can assure you. I know some don't like when I say the region's Mecca, but it is the region's Mecca. And I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of a man who enjoys coming to Kensington Oval, Wayne Holder.
Well, Shondell Regis, he's going to come into the attack now to bowl from the Malcolm Marshall end. The trial by spin continues, and the trial by spin is being won by Grenada. Wicket number 7 goes down, and the flags of Grenada, the Spice Isle, they're flying here in the sunshine of Barbados.
Well, some inspired cricket here from the Grenadians. Ever since, Joel, that over, I think I heard you mention it, Josh Thomas had taken his position at the top of his mark to continue the bowling. And then, by some inspiration, the captain made a move and asked Cyrus to pick up the ball. Ever since that, he got a wicket with the first delivery, 2 wickets in the over, removing the 2 set batsmen. And ever since then, the game has taken on a completely different momentum. That shot, looking for the street shot, ball much too close to him, and the umpire having very little hesitation in making that decision. Nothing complicated about it whatsoever. Down the middle stump, looking for the street shot, struck in front and gone.
Yeah, certainly was a very easy one there for the umpire to make. It would have crashed into all 3, as they would say. 114 for 7. Abraham, he went without troubling the scores. And Kenneth Dember is a new batter to the crease. It was interesting. At one stage, we were setting up talking about the type of total that St. Vincent and the Grenadines would go on to get, especially when you look at where they were after 10 overs, 78 for 2, now 114 for 7, and you're wondering if they might even be able to bat out the overs here in this innings.
First real test for their for the batting lineup altogether, but for the lower order in particular. And this man, Othniel Lewis, has been good for them so far in the death overs.
Did he get all of that? Yes, he did. It's gone into the stands. And, well, they're going to need a lot more of that.
Well, some room to play with outside the off stump, some width for those arms, and getting it high out towards extra cover. And the ball again keep mentioning the shorter boundaries on that western side of the ground. And he got enough to get it over the rope at deep extra cover. There it is. Given some room, clearing that front leg and swinging away, making enough good enough contact to get it away for a maximum.
Well, he doesn't get that. And he's got to go back. It's back to the pavilion for Othniel Lewis.
Bigger side of the ground now. I just mentioned 6 on the shorter side, but that huge boundary on the onside, looking to exploit, and he got more elevation than distance. And no, that is a serious nail in the coffin of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines police team, because Othniel Lewis would have been the man charged with carrying this innings through to the end and lifting them to much better total than it appears right now. And having to make that long trek back to the pavilion, Othniel Lewis.
Yeah, he has to go for 8 from 4 deliveries, 121 for 8. And once again, that question about whether or not they will bat through the innings here, looking to take on the man at deep mid-wicket. Did not get all of it, as you mentioned, just that elevation, taking the ball high into the sky. Did not get the distance though, and he perishes. More success for Grenada. Darius Martin, he's now at the crease. And it's just so interesting the position that they find themselves in, and just thinking back as they scamper too and get there in the end. Not good cricket, you would have to say, by Grenada there. The end of 18, 123 for 8. But yeah, just looking back, and when Salvin Brown was at the crease just before his dismissal, so it was Desron Brown that went right before him. Looking at that dismissal there, I guess you had to tell yourself that the responsibility now falls on me to go through the innings. I've been here from the start. I've got 50 already, yes, but my team needs me to be in the back end. And it had to be a case of the others going at the ball, because yes, you still need the runs, because you're looking to put a total on the board. It's a final, so after this, there's no coming back. So you're looking to put that total on the board. It had to be the responsibility of Salva Brown to bat through the innings. But from the moment that he fell, you told yourself that the game was now wide open, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I guess, falling away here towards the end. Not the kind of momentum they will want to take into the second innings, but still, 2 overs left. What can they put on the board? Because he said it's a final. There's no coming back after this.
Well, as you said, 2 overs left, 2 wickets in hand, And I think that they are going to try to get it to probably get another 20 runs or so out of these 2 overs, and hopefully be trusting their bowlers to be able to defend that on what has turned out to be a quite batting friendly Kensington track.
This could be another chance. It is. Success again for Grenada.
Well, the man who got it started in the beginning comes back in the end. Nicholas Redhead coming back for a second spell, and with the first delivery, it was full. The batsman, Denver, looking to clear the long on boundary, getting it low on the bat, but now everything going the way of the Grenadians, and they do deserve it. I must say credit to them and the captain. Low full toss, looking to heave it away over long on, and the ball holding in the air for a long while. Well judged by the fielder there inside the rope at long on, still having enough room to settle, get under it, and making no mistake. Cut by the sub. Bold Redhead 1.
Yeah, Denver, he goes for 1. 123 now for 9. It's just interesting because they've batted first in all of the matches except for one, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and posted what have been some very imposing targets. 201, 168, 272, 275, 171. Those have been the scores that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been able to post batting first in this tournament. Looking now at 123 for 9, this is certainly going to be the lowest total that they've put onto the board batting first in this competition. And when you think about it, it will take what is going to be a Herculean effort to defend this. A bit of a hold-up in play at the moment.
The 2 batsmen in the middle in consultation. We see the umpires are making their way back towards the boundaries edge. They have the ball in their hand. I suspect that the issue is the ball, the condition of the ball. Yes, here is the match manager, Leslie Prescott, coming onto the field with her batch of balls, and they will be making a change. Joel, I want to take you back to a question I asked you around the end of the preliminaries. And I did mention to you that there's a theory that says in these kind of tournaments, you should get your bad game in before you get to the knockout stage, the sudden death stage. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been basically perfect up to this stage. They have won all of their matches, and now they come, and it's looking like, well, at least batting-wise, this is their bad game that they have played.
Well, it's so interesting that as a theory, and it's true, you know, you want to kind of get it out of the way, but I also think that it could also maybe be a case of maybe they weren't tested as much in terms of the other teams that they batted against in their first innings. That could be a consideration as well. Romario Bibby is a new batter. Work to be done by long off, but he does it quite well.
It is also true that the Grenadian team was one of the teams that they would have defeated on their way to the head of the standings at the preliminary stage. And Grenada are looking for revenge, it was. So
going and everything here is Bibby. Had he connected, we would have probably been catching it here in the 3W stand.
Although it's still a better chance of it finishing it towards the Malcolm Marshall end at the sudden peeling off the outside edge. He never got anywhere near that delivery, actually.
Yeah, certainly here right now, it has to be a case of wrapping up the innings for Grenada, because every run here now is valuable to the cause of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Certainly not what they want from Redhead at this stage, and to add insult to injury. They're going to come back as well. Yeah, so we talked about wanting to finish the innings out. That's not going to help it. The extras go up to 14 in this innings.
Some rather poor out cricket there. Wide delivery, not taken by keeper, and then the keeper, rather than trying to get back over the stumps to receive the return, found themselves in a bit of no man's land, and the second run, which should have been a lot closer, easily taken.
They scamper again. Fantastic running by them. We said that every single run here will be valuable to the cause of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is a final. This is the time that you must stand up and shine. Can this pair bat them down to the end of 20 overs? And if they do, even if it's just a case of 10 runs being added on, that's 140 that they have on the board.
If I do find a fault or flaw in the Grenadians' play today, though, it has been the mobility over the ground. The big Kensington outfield has been a challenge for them. A number of ones turned into twos, one would have noticed, because of that slow movement in from the deep fields. And that has been one area in which I think that they could have been a lot better.
Could have felt the win off of that one from Bibby. It's been a lovely day here at Kensington. The wind is high, being assisted there by that swing from Bibby, but cool conditions for us sitting in the stands, but perfect cricket conditions all around, you would have to say, and I guess this is what you want for a final as well.
And throughout the tournament, we have been having some high cloud about. Today, we noticed the cloud cover has been a lot less, and bright sunshine almost all the way through.
And that will be the end of the innings. So Redhead starts it and wraps it up for Grenada. And you would have to think that they're the happy two sides at the moment.
Well, a 4-wicket haul for Redhead, deservedly so too. He has been excellent, coming to the fore on the big day. Nicholas Redhead, starting with the new ball, coming back in the death. And there we saw a Bibby swinging at everything, and almost predictably, like I mentioned to you, he appeared more likely to get an edge than to find the middle of the bat. And delivery outside the awesome, and just swinging away as the bat, the feet, the head, everything going in a completely different direction to the ball. And just a simple catch through to the keeper, and a very happy and satisfied Grenada team come back to the pavilion, led by Daryl Cyrus, the right arm leg spinner, who took those 3 wickets in the middle. And it was a case of the teams even up to the first 10 overs. But once you got into that middle stage, the Grenadian bowlers stamped their authority, took over, and there was no recovering for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, certainly no recovery for them in the end after what was that halfway point. Well, a look at that scorecard for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Things started well with Salvin Brown. He got 50 off of 43. He was there for half of the innings. Hooper, he started well for them at the top. Just 12 for him though today. Dylan Douglas, just 4 for him. Desron Maloney. That partnership between Hooper and Maloney is what got them up to 78 for 2 after 10, but then things fell away from there. Maloney, he got 25. Stapleton, he didn't trouble the scores much, just 3 for him. Rickford Walker got 4. Othniel Lewis, 8. Abraham, 3. Kenneth Denver, just 1. Darius Martin, 2, not out. And maybe the last man to go, he went for 6. So that's how things went for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Looking now at that scorecard, well, things started with Nicholas Redhead, and he ended as well. 2 wickets in the beginning and 2 wickets at the end to mean 4 for 29 for him from his 4 overs. 1 wicket for Johan Jeremiah, 3 for Cyrus. Those figures there, 3 for 21 from his 4, fantastic for him. Regis, he picked up 2 for 9, and none for Amikel Dubisset, but just that economy of 6.8. So all around, we would have to say a fantastic effort by the Grenadian bowlers, especially after winning the toss and opting to field this is certainly how you would want things to go for you here in what is a big final, the big day for them. So that score on the board, 130 all out for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which means that 131 will be needed for Grenada when they come.
The question is, will the Vincentians be able to maintain that winning streak? Will their bowlers be able to defend a rather modest 130 for all out in 19 overs? Those questions will be answered when the game resumes, when the Grenadians respond to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines first innings. But at the moment, I have been joined here by the chief cook and bottle washer, coordinator, chairman of the organizing committee of this year's 2023 Regional Police T20 tournament, Trevor Griffith. First of all, let me personally offer you my congratulations on what has been an excellent tournament. And I know with all the challenges that you would have encountered, nonetheless, we are here at Kensington today and just one stage away. Good afternoon. And how are you feeling now, Trevor?
Yes, let me say good afternoon to all out there listening to this broadcast and to the spectators here on the ground. I'm very much pleased with the turnout and the support from the public, and I want to say thank you for coming out and supporting this police venture. It means a very lot to the police, to the Barbados Police Service and the regional police teams to see such a large crowd here at our finals at the Kingston Oval in support of this tournament.
And of course, coming back to the tournament after a 3-year hiatus, of course, we know due to the COVID-19 pandemic and being the first territory to hold the tournament. What have been some of the major challenges coming in?
Well, the tournament of this size this year, this is the time we had the most teams in terms of 7 teams participating. Really, originally there were 9 teams, but 2 had to withdraw for reasons beyond their control. However, with 7 teams, it still had challenges because you got to look at over 170 persons within the island, accommodation, catering, and the logistics of setting up the venues for cricket. Because you want to put a product that is warming to everyone. The teams from the region came to Barbados. They know Barbados is known for cricket, so you know you got to give them the best facilities. They expect a high standard of cricket, a high standard of wickets, a high standard of umpiring. So those are the things you got to consider when we put this tournament together.
And of course, you did have your setbacks. You mentioned the 2 teams that had to pull out at short notice. Then we had the situation where you had to change arrangements as far as some of the grounds were concerned.
Yes.
How smooth were you able to make those transitions?
I think at this time I should say thanks to my team. We worked behind the scenes. We worked hard. We put in the great effort, late nights. Because on Monday morning, when we had to go to St. Catherine, and the teams said that look, they are not ready, they don't want to play on this field, and we really want to play at St. Catherine because we know St. Catherine is a strong cricket community. So when that happened, we spoke to the Sports Council, and we were able to go to BNOC and to Lear's ground. And I must say that out of that adversity came a very positive result because the Lear's cricket field was a very good cricket wicket for all reports. I must say for all reports because I hadn't the chance to watch any of the games because logistics-wise, I was in the background making sure everything was in place for this tournament.
Well, I can attest to that fact. I was there for a number of the games there, and a fantastic job at short notice by the folks there at Lear's. Excellent batting track, and the outfield itself stood up very well. But the cricket itself has captured the imagination of the local public, you think. What are your thoughts of the turnout today?
Yeah. Listen, you know, when I was speaking to my team, I said, I'm looking to get 5,000 people into Kingston Oval for this finals. Some say the numbers may be a little too high. I said, with the right promotion, with the right product, and with the right atmosphere, we can make it happen. Even if you don't have 5,000 here today, the atmosphere is very enticing. It's very much cricket. And I will ask the question, when last did you see this happen at Barbados outside of Test cricket?
Well, speaking to you personally, you must have been disappointed though that the local team, the Barbados Police Service team, the defending champions weren't able to make it to the final, to the big party in their own backyard.
Well, this is all going to reply to you. I organized a tournament. I didn't organize a team.
So you were actually not taking responsibility for the performance of the Barbados team, but generally,
You'll like it. You'll like to see the Barbados team here, but I organized a tournament, and this tournament was organized for the regional police teams, and the best teams, I believe, are at the finals.
I was just about to ask you about your thoughts on the quality, the standard of play which you have witnessed.
I'm telling you, the standard of play in this tournament is very high. I know personally because initially when this tournament first started, I took part, and that was caused me to then retire from cricket because it's very competitive. I mean, yes, we are from the Caribbean, and each team knows and they want to win. So it's a very competitive sport, and it's like in 6 days you're going to play 5 games. And it's even tougher, to me, it's much tougher than the first class cricket because you put your all into every game. Whether it's 20 overs or 40 overs, you put your all into it because you know that at the end of the day, you're representing your country, you're representing your police service, you're representing your people. So you want to give a good show for it.
And the future of this tournament, I believe, judging from what we've seen here, very much guaranteed.
Well, I hope that the potential partner sponsors, seeing what is happening here today, don't let me contact you, just come and contact us and say you want to be part of it. Because I think this is a very good initiative. It's not just about the cricket, but it's how we have reached into the community. We have expanded our reach with youngsters playing for the teams. We have expanded our reach where we have promotions on radio. Right now, this is going live within the region. It may not be live in Barbados. I understand CBC will televise this finals probably on Saturday. However, this is going live in St. Lucia and other regional territories. And I'm telling you, that is a very big plus for this tournament.
Anything you would do differently if you had to do it all over again?
Yes, there's always something you think about in hindsight that you would do differently. But I'll be honest to you, I don't think it would change much because this year, you don't learn from perfection, you learn from mistakes. Anything you do anything to perfection, it misleads you, it misguides you. When you make mistakes, you learn from them. You learn how to correct them. You know what to do next time around. I believe if I had to do it again, probably the teams I would change. But for this tournament, no.
Well, Trevor, again, I must commend you for a job very, very well done. You and your organizing team, of course, all of the teams involved, all the persons involved in making it a tremendous success. And we're just looking now for the final culmination. Any predictions of who would win this match?
As I said earlier on, I organized a tournament. I didn't organize a team, so there's no predictions from me.
So Trevor Griffith, coordinator, chairman of the organizing committee, is not going to stick his neck out and take a position on the actual field of play. But thank you very much. Well done to you and your team. So we will wrap it up here for the break between innings. And when we rejoin you, it will be Grenada in pursuit of 131 for victory.
Hi guys, let's see our
Well, the contest is certainly on, but how did things begin here at Kenton Oval? Well, it started with the toss being won by Grenada, and since then you would have to think that majority of the innings has gone in their favor. They picked up wickets at regular intervals, and they've been tight in terms of their bowling, especially in the middle overs. That was the first wicket to go. That was Shaman Hooper. He went caught by Josh Thomas. A bit of bounce on an offer, and then it was Redhead again to pick up the second wicket. Once again, the bounce on offer for him, and Dylan Douglas, well, he perished via that route as well. And that was the start that I was talking about for Grenada, and from there, it was 23 for 2 for them. But then a bit of a partnership came, but then it was Daryl Cyrus introduced into things. And then from there, he picked up Desron Maloney, the third wicket to fall at 102. And ever since then, everything went in the direction of Grenada, and Cyrus especially, he was economical and he picked up the wickets there. That was Salvin Brown after being dropped once and misstumped as well off the bowling of Cyrus. He came back and got his wicket. Johan Jeremiah, he was tight as well, and he picked up wickets for them, especially in those middle overs. An easy catch in the end there. That was Benetton Stapleton not getting the hand of that one, and then they continued to fall like 9 pins, would have to say. Cyrus picked up 4 in the end. That is his third. And well, there was no containing his joy, no containing the joy of Grenada. As I mentioned, everything after the 10 over mark went for them. Regis was introduced into the attack, and straight away he was bang on the money, that one, hitting him full in front. And the umpire had little trouble once again. Regis picking up his second. He picked up 2 in this match. That one, an easy catch in the end off Neil Lewis, looking to go again. He hit him for 6 the ball before this, but an easy catch out to deep mid-wicket. And once again, the return of Niklos Redhead to wrap up the innings. He was absolutely fantastic today. Kenneth Dember being caught on the boundary, an easy catch towards long on. And then that final wicket. 4 in the end for Niklos Redhead. A fantastic bowling performance from him. He picked up the first 2. He picked up the last 2. And well, everything, as I mentioned, has gone Grenada's way after over number 10. It was a bit of a partnership that got St. Vincent and the Grenadines up to 79 for 2 after 10. But then after, wickets just fell at regular intervals, only able to get 28 runs in between what was overs 10 and 15. And that was due to the very good bowling partnership between Cyrus and Johan Jeremiah. They built the pressure, and then they picked up on the loose mistakes, the loose shots being played by the batters of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So 130 all out is what they were able to post on the board, which means that 131 runs will be needed if Grenada are to win this one here. It would represent their 2nd win in the regional police cricket tournament. The tournament started off with a loss for them versus Trinidad and Tobago. Then there was a super over versus Barbados, and they came out on top of that one. And ever since then, things have gone their way in terms of the momentum. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they've been unbeaten in this tournament, and this total of 130 represents their lowest first innings total in the entire tournament played so far. So it's a case of they will need their men to stand up here, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but you would have to say, at this moment, Grenada are certainly the happier of the 2 sides.
Well, it is a question of who will it be to take the 2023 total title back home. Of course, I can tell you the history of this tournament says that the Vincentians have won this competition some 6 times. The Grenadians have been to the final on 7 occasions with a record of only capturing the title once. So I think they would want to add to that, and in a very good position. But yes, Joel, coming in to the second half of the match with the momentum very much in their favor, the Grenada Police Force, and something really special would have to come from St. Vincent if they are to get back into it at this stage.
Well, one man they'll be hoping to do something special for them is Darius Martin. He's going to get things kicked off for them. The batters, Johan Jeremiah and Lyndon Lawrence. A bit of a false start for him there. You'd have to tell yourself that if they can start well here, if they can pick up some early wickets, and if not pick up early wickets, if they can restrict them probably to maybe about 20 or 25 at max in these power play overs, that the pressure could start to be there for them.
Well, that is exactly what the Grenadians were able to do. They were able to get early wickets, get rid of the 2 opening batsmen within the halfway stage of the power play, and then apply the pressure to those middle overs, and the batsmen from St. Vincent never being able to really break free.
That bounce on offer there. Again, we certainly expect it for Darius Martin. We saw it at the start of the innings with Niklos Redhead for Grenada. And well, the bounce there again for for that tall figure of Darius Martin. And Redhead was able to, I guess you would almost say, surprise the top order batters with the additional bounce that he got out of the surface. Martin is similar in height, and you just wonder if he might be able to do something similar here. This pair of Lawrence and Jeremiah have, for the most part, gotten Grenada off to some fantastic starts in this competition. In this final, they would want to do the very same.
Take a look at the bowling lineup. We're going to see from the Vincent team.
Oh, that's some sharp, short stuff. Oh, that's good from Darius Martin. Oh, the intensity is high here at Kensington. It is a final. And he's letting know that he is not out of this contest.
Well, the casual approach there by Jeremiah, though, to that short delivery. No definitive movement to get on top of that ball. Just seemed to want to tickle it around. I suspect that he might have misread the amount of bounce extracted from the pitch by Martin. Losing the strap from his helmet. I think umpire Thompson having an inquiry as to his wellness, and satisfied that the batsman is in no danger.
Gets on to this one. The first runs for Grenada in pursuit of 131 for victory.
Benetton Stapleton and Othniel Lewis among the pace attack for St. Vincent. Kenneth Denver will be charged with a lot of responsibility as one of the more experienced bowlers in this side.
Lyndon Lawrence, a no-nonsense batter, usually likes to take the attack to the opposition, especially straight back down the ground. He's really slapped a lot of these fast bowlers back down the ground quite early in the piece, especially these power play overs.
Dylan Douglas, who has been the leading wicket taker for St. Vincent, he will also be wanting to play a role. Romaria Bibi also. So real test for the Vincentians, who have up to this stage, I think most pundits would agree, the best team on show in the competition. But that does not matter today. Brand new game, big final. They've got their work cut out.
It's just so interesting that before this delivery, as that one is called one for the over by the umpire, but the third man came in, the man at fine leg went out, and there's also the man at deep backward square leg. So in terms of how they're looking to bowl to Lawrence, it looks as if they're going to challenge him on that back foot. I mentioned that Lawrence is that type of batter that likes to come down to you and slap you straight back over, straight back down the ground, and they're switching it up to him. So it says they've done their homework. These teams have not met yet in this competition. The first time they're playing against each other. At the end of over number one, it's one without loss.
Well, the gauntlet has been laid down.
In fact, no, it's a no ball signal by the umpire. So it should have been the end of the first over. But what it is now is a chance for Lyndon Lawrence to have a go at it, to have a swing. It's a free hit for him here.
It'll be interesting to see how Martin responds. I have my thoughts as to what kind of delivery will be coming up. But a situation where all the teams didn't play each other. Of the 7 teams in the competition, each team played against 5 of the other opposing sides. And this is this matchup.
It's going to be taken by Denver, but it will not count. So a single now to finally close out over number 1. It's 3 without loss.
Well, a very fine over by Martin nonetheless, but predictably, I expected him to go in with a short pitch delivery, which was the method, early method adopted to Lawrence. And with the field he had set, it was almost obvious that that is what, especially with the free hit, that would have been forthcoming. So again, as I mentioned, the gauntlet laid down though, Joel. The Vincentians are starting off very well and sending the message that they're not going to be laying down and playing dead despite an unsatisfactory total. I think whatever they make though will have to be satisfactory for them, and the bowlers will be trying to do their best to keep their team in front, because it is now left all up to them. Only the bowlers can help St. Vincent and the Grenadines now. Yeah,
certainly 130 will have to be enough for them here, whether or not they wanted more. We do know they wanted more. Othniel Lewis is going to be the bowler to pair Darius Martin.
This has been something of a pattern by the Vincentians, to start with the fast bowling of Martin and a spinner from the next end. Lewis, one of the 2 bowlers with 8 wickets, having played some 5 matches in the tournament.
They would certainly want to keep this pair of Lawrence and Jeremiah quiet, and they've done that so far. Johan Jeremiah, 203 runs coming into this match. Lyndon Lawrence, 187 coming into this one. Lawrence got a 75 and a 44 not out and 37 in that semi-final. Johan Jeremiah, who's currently on strike, 70 not out, a 68 and a 29 in that semi-final. So they're bringing runs into this contest, but they're also bringing a very good opening pair into this contest. They've gotten Grenada off to some fantastic starts.
Going to be very interesting to see how the off spinner operates to the left-handed batsman, hitting towards the shorter side of the field.
Cut away nicely. That's going to take some chasing, but the ball wins it in the end. So the first boundary.
Again, looking to keep the ball away from the striking arc of the left-handed batter, Joel, but getting this one outside the off stump, much too wide, and I think even more telling for the bowler, much too short. And the batsman, Jeremiah, finding that gap between the backward point and the short third man, and a very quick outfield here at Kensington, the ball running away from both fielders.
Oh, and that's going to be back-to-back boundaries for them. What a way to get this over going.
None of the boundary riders in the power play on the offside of the field, and once again the placement, a perfect placement from the left-handed Jeremiah. And such was the timing that once that ball pierced the infield, it was 4 runs. Chipping down the track, getting to the pitch, and as I said, perfectly finding that gap between mid-off and extra cover.
Worked around the corner. It's worked for more runs. With 13 coming in that over, it's 16 without loss.
Well, this is fantastic batting by Jeremiah, having been struck through the offside with the previous 2 deliveries. The off spinner Lewis looking to get a lot straighter, and the batsman responding in such a way as coming inside the line of delivery and helping it away. Once he beats that man at short fine leg, the 2 fielders in the deep are at long on and the deep mid wicket, and the ball again, the outfield here at Kensington really coming to the assistance of young Jeremiah, who has now snatched the initiative for the Grenadians.
Yeah, certainly a pair of Martin and Lewis have started quite well usually for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Martin, he did his role, and you would have to say that Lewis on that occasion, the length is what he really got around because he was short and wide, the full toss there, and then strained down the leg side at the final delivery. So pressure on, you would have to say, at the start. And this is something, well, horrible running from Lyndon Lawrence means that they have got the breakthrough. Lyndon Lawrence is not happy, but he has got to go, and he's only got himself to blame.
Well, well, well. What have we got here? Out of nothing came something. What appeared to be an easy single struck on the pad, the ball falling away in the onside, and the bowler going all the way up the wicket. Lawrence was guilty of ball watching, I believe, and not looking to slide into his crease, looking to ground his bat in the crease, and I think he was just that half second late, and something for the St. Vincentian players to hold on to.
Certainly capitalizing on the moments afforded to you. It was a case whereby it should have been a comfortable single. It would have been a leg bye for them. Johan Jeremiah called him through for the single, and it was the correct call there. And I think the intensity of Lyndon Lawrence telling himself that the ball was not coming to the danger end, because then when he realized it was being thrown to his end, he attempted to pick back up the run, but also not sliding in the back into the crease. And that is the fundamentals that was missing on that occasion. He went off shaking his head, but he's only got himself to blame, capitalizing on the small moments. He goes for two. It's 16 for 1.
Don't let us forget the part played by the bowler Darius Martin, because he had the presence of mind to first of all to go down the wicket and pick the ball up, and then recognizing that Lawrence seemed to be cruising, turning, and accurate throw, picking out the wicket, and didn't get it, getting that wicket by the run-out road. Fortuitous?
Well, it brings Shondell Regis into the crease. You say that when you have small totals, it's just those little opportunities you must capitalize on. Mistakes made by the batting side, and it spelled the end of what was a very dangerous campaigner in Lyndon Lawrence. He never got a chance to get going, and he certainly will be disappointed when he sees the replay of that one.
Well, St. Vincent and the Grenadines have got that early breakthrough, and just like the Grenadians were able to get, let's see if they will be able to double that as happened in the St. Vincent innings.
The crowd is certainly buzzing here at Kensington following that dismissal. A lot of discussion still going on. A lovely follow-up delivery by Martin. You can see the attacking intent being employed now, because it looks as if they're putting a man into slip. So they're looking for the chances, and they certainly have to be, because wickets are what are going to do it here for them. When you look at that total, I don't think they could probably be able to really restrict Grenada under there, so they must take wickets.
Good pace being worked up here by Martin.
A bit of miscommunication, but no damage done on that occasion. But Martin is certainly into what is a good spell. It's just his second over, but he's been bowling well. He's been keeping St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the game at the top, because you always want to ensure that you start well, because especially with a small total, if a team is able to get a good start, get off to a flare, it's very difficult to pull things back. But if you keep the pressure on early, force one or two mistakes, capitalize on lapses in judgment, as we saw there with the runner, you just never know where you will be when things get into over number 10.
Five fielders behind the bat, plus the wicket keeper, Joel. This tells us something about what tactics will be employed by Martin, or should be.
hike the question on that occasion, but once again, fantastic work by Martin. He's been exactly where he needs to be, just back of a length. There's a bit of movement on offer for him, more so movement off of the pitch than swing in the air, but he's really not allowed them to get the lengths that they want here at the start. And like I said, this side is one that is very positive intent. Grenada.
Very positive, the hard new ball. Getting some good bounce, good steep bounce.
A bit of variation there and no signal wide by the umpire.
I don't think that one got up as much as some of the previous deliveries.
Certainly because of the pace off on that particular occasion, what we consider to be that tennis ball bounce on that occasion, going for the option of rolling his fingers across the ball, a variation that we've seen creep into the shorter format of the game these days, probably just getting it a little off there, or rather just getting a bit more bounce than he would have wanted. One delivery to close out this over. Fantastic stuff by Darius Martin. 2 runs from it, and the run out is 18 for 2.
Well, certainly,
or rather 18 for 1, sorry.
Certainly causing a few jitters among the early batsmen for Grenada. Darius Martin, just what his team would have required to remain in this contest. And both batsmen being tested, pace and bounce. And Captain Maloney very much on the attack, on the lookout for wickets with his fast man on.
Well, we did expect a change from that Malcolm Marshall end after that over from Othniel Lewis. It's going to be Kenneth Dember brought into the attack, and he's being brought in quite early this time, and you really have to tell yourself it's because of looking to keep the pressure on. The experience of Dember that they've gone to very often in this tournament. Well, he starts wide, and he is punished.
Jeremiah, that offside field even further reinforced with some 5 men in a circle, starting from short third man right around to mid-off. And Denver guilty of being too short, as Lewis was in the first ball, in the first over, in his first over. And Jeremiah, very good exponent of that shot, square of the wicket on the offside, finding the deep boundary at point.
Yeah, I mentioned the fact that this is by far earlier in the contest that Denver has been brought in. He was brought in over number 7 in that semi-final, bowled 4 overs, 2 for 17 there. And it's because of that he's been brought in here to kind of slow things down. Picking up a wicket would be bonus for them, certainly, but it's really about the runs here in this power play phase at the moment. I mentioned that, he bowled his 4 overs straight in that semi-final and really applied a lot of pressure.
Early days yet in his spell. Still to find his range, I believe. Bowling to the newer batsman.
Well, he certainly wouldn't want to take too long to find that range here. Not much runs to play with for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And there he is, doing exactly what they want from him. Less protection, yes, because I mentioned the fact he came in on over number 7, so he was just outside the power play and was easier to control for him. He's going to have to be even tighter here with just 2 allowed outside the circle.
No fielder saving a run in front of the wicket on the onside.
Oh, that is lovely, and that too will race away.
Well, again, now straying on that leg stump, getting a bit too straight, and Regis easily helping it around. So as you mentioned, Denver, we want to get it right this time. Again, too square, and the batsman coming across his wicket, taking a chance, I believe, playing that one off the stumps, but making good contact and coming out the better for it.
So you're looking to exploit the field on that occasion. The length worked for him also in terms of playing that shot. As long as he could have gotten it to the right or left of the man at Fine, like he knew he was in the money. At the end of that Denver over, 28 for 1.
Well, the stem not being able to stem the flow of runs at Denver in his first over. And Grenada are sitting pretty after 4 overs. I think the captain, the Maloney, might be up to a trick or two, or to be. He's got those 5 men in that circle on the offside, but no one inside pressing the batsman. So every time the ball is played into that area, once the batsman played with soft hands, there's always going to be a single and offer. And I think he will do well to at least bring one of those fielders in much closer to the bat and give himself an option of cutting off that easy single.
He bowled too well on the trot. Martin, his captain, asking him to bowl a third. And by having him bowl this third, it certainly must be a case of them saying, we need a wicket from you here. Darius Martin won the run-out route, but certainly keeping him running through here at the moment must be a case of we need you to pick up a wicket. I mean, you think back to the field that they have employed with that man at what is the gully, and then the point, the man at short cover. They're looking for that wicket. They need that wicket.
Yes, it's a case of having to take that chance and not having all the fielders hanging back on the edge of the circle. They really would want to avoid giving easy runs. Of course, they also want to protect the boundaries. They want to avoid the boundary balls, but then it's imperative that the bowlers find their lengths, find their lines.
A valiant attempt by the keeper to reel that one in, but he can't. And well, the runs keep coming for Johan Jeremiah.
Wayward delivery though, outside the leg stump, and just getting a tickle on it. Anything more, the fielder at fine leg might very well have had a chance to pick it up, but just getting that tickle, hitting it fine enough away from the keeper, never had a chance, and the ball traveling quickly. The man at fine leg is rather fine, but even then, he couldn't prevent that one going across the rope. Looking for that wicket ball, the previous delivery, Joel, going up, trying to attack the wicket, trying to attack the stumps.
Bowled him! They're looking for the wicket, and Martin delivers.
Again, attacking the stumps and forcing the batsman to play. Getting rid of the rather dangerous Johan Jeremiah, who has had a good tournament, and St. Vincent keeping their heads above water as Jeremiah crosses the new batsman on his way back to the pavilion. The Vincentians in a huddle, wide of the crease. There, Martin, the ball pitching just back of a length, coming in to the left-handed batter. He attempted, first looking to play, then attempting to pull the bat away, and succeeded only in dragging it on to his off stump. But I think, importantly, making the batsman play, attacking the wicket, Martin, and that is just what will be required.
Yeah, Johan Jeremiah pulling the bat away too late. He has to go for 23 from 16. It's 33 for 2. But we did say that if you're going to keep Martin going, it could only be for one reason. It's because they needed him to pick up a wicket. Both openers are back in the hut for Grenada. And coming to the crease now, Nikosi St-Hilaire.
Similar field employed for the right-handed batsman.
He's off the mark quite easily.
Good work by the man coming in there from deep backward square, swooping on the ball, picking up, releasing it quite quickly, as Regis had thoughts of turning for a second run.
One more wicket in these power play overs, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines would probably tell themselves that they've pulled themselves back towards making it even Stevens.
Grenada were able to pick up a couple of wickets in the power play, and now St. Vincent doing similarly. So the game taking on, up to this stage, a fairly similar pattern, both innings.
Taking the time to get his feel right, Martin. One delivery left for him. What an absolute beauty! But the umpire says no. They thought they had their man, but what they have is the end of over number 5, 34 for 2.
Tremendous delivery there from Martin. Ball pitching down on that all stump from around the wicket, holding its own, that delivery, bouncing up towards the chest of the left-handed Regis. He did have a spar at the ball. It went through to the keeper. The appeal was a very confident one, but umpire Thompson was just as confident, even more confident, that that ball had not touched the edge of the bat, and any celebrations by the Vincentians thwarted with that decision. But has been quite a good spell here from Martin. Martin, quite a lively spell of bowling. Andrew Mason from Martin from this pavilion end, and just about keeping the Vincentians interested in this contest.
Yeah, and sometimes small scores can give teams trouble. We've seen it on so many occasions.
Denver is on the legs, worked to the fielder there, square on the onside.
Yeah, he would have been disappointed with his first over when he conceded 2 boundaries. A ball that was on the leg stump that was clipped away, and then the first ball was too short outside the off stump. So he's got to try to get his length right here, Denver, and we know he can do it, as he did in the semifinals against Barbados. Not a big score, but they've gotten important wickets already, particularly that wicket of Lawrence, who was loitering and was run out, and Jeremiah, they're good players. So we could have a pretty interesting contest. We shall see. The length again from Denver is not the best. They'll get a second here. Short and on the leg stump. And all we just had to do was to tuck it.
Neither length nor line. He's got 2 fielders in front of the bat on the onside. So anything played in front of the wicket is at least 1 run.
That's a much better length, a little bit of air, and on that off stump, bringing the batsman forward. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 men inside the circle, saving 1 the offside.
Well,
make that 5.
Captain Maloney recognizing the importance of having at least one of his fielders inside saving one on the press on that offside. Previously, he had 5 men all standing on the edge of the circle, giving an easy single every time the ball was played into that area.
Again,
In front of the wicket again.
Again, he's on the leg stump and pushed away. We'll get a second. This has not been good from Denver. I'm sure he's much better than this. Got to make up in his mind. Are you going to bowl off stump? He's all over the place. At the end of another over, in fact, an over in 6 game, 6 gone is 40 for 2.
It will be interesting to see the position of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the conclusion. As a matter of fact, Joel comes to the rescue. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 39 for 2 at the power play, Andrew. And Grenada.
And a very good crowd is gathered here. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I went downstairs on the 2nd floor, and I would think you could easily have maybe 15 to 2,000 people here. It's a very good crowd. And can you imagine if Barbados were in the finals? Sure, we would have had a lot more. And despite Barbados being in the finals, very good crowd here.
From what I've been able to pick up in the outside effects, Andrew, the crowd very much engaged in this contest. It has been rather intriguing so far, as we see once again a shot of the contingent of the Trinidad and Tobago side, who very well might have been here. Well, they are here, but might have been on the field playing in the final.
In fact, you're right, because when we looked at the 3rd ball of the last over, 12 to get, 2 wickets had fallen. And then, of course, we know Campbell came out and struck the ball away. But that is a good crowd. There's no doubt about that. And we want to tell the organizers, Acting Station Sergeant Trevor Griffith, who's our special guest at the break, take a bow. This is a tournament with tremendous potential.
It does suggest a thirst for good cricket here in Barbados too.
Here's Bibi.
I think one of the effects of having the games, some of the games played out in the communities at the oil company in Woodburn and at Lears, would have had the ripple effect here. Would have brought a few more people, well, a lot more people down to Kensington for this final.
Yeah. In the semi-finals 2 days ago, we also had a good crowd at Weymouth. So we start over number 7. It's 40 for 2. That's going to be called a wide.
Bibi has been one of the strike bowlers for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and he would want to continue the good work of that Martin would have started from this, the Joel Garner end here at Kensington.
That's a good delivery.
As far as St. Vincent and the Grenadines are concerned, it's all about wickets. They would want to continue to send the batsmen back to the pavilion. Don't allow any partnerships to build, any formidable alliances.
Think about small scores too, is that you can be lured into a false sense of security where you believe that you got, all day to make the runs, and all of a sudden, you have to score at 6 and it can easily go to 8. And we've seen already that rate, although it's manageable, the rate required is 6.59. But of course, the bowling side would want to try to get it up to 8 and then to 9. And as I said, I've seen on several occasions teams defending small scores. It's a very small score. Grenada Police are in front, but you never know. Wicket or 2, you never know. Another good tight delivery just on the top of the off stump. We just can't put it away.
No room for the batsman. So, good start by Bibi.
But this is a tremendous atmosphere, and you know, I went downstairs, as I said, and I was surprised by the crowd, actually, with the home team not involved. But people want something to do. It's a bank holiday, and they've turned out. They'll get the single, a bit of a fumble by the fielder inside the circle at short, third man. But so far, this has been a good over. Started with a wide, but it's been just on about that off stump.
Really should not have been a single there. Ball going straight to the fielder. Then even though he bubbled it, not recovering quick enough, missing the stumps with his throw. So Bibby now to bowl to the right-hander in St. Hilaire. So the fielder making some adjustments.
He's got that slinging action. Bibby, big strong man.
Another excellent delivery though, close to that off stump.
But he's conceded the wide in 2 and 1 to come in the over. And you know, I always place emphasis on that last ball because we've seen on several occasions a boundary coming off the last ball of the over. Let's see if Bibby can be tight here. So wide, deliberately bowling the ball wide of the off stump.
That one got away somewhat. I like this field to Andrew. 3 men in and 2 back in the offside. He's got 3 fielders in the deep on the leg stump, on the leg side, suggesting that he may be looking to bowl a bit straight.
Well, he got away with that. It was banged in short. Good energy from the bowler and a good over as well. An over in which 3 runs came. Of course, we had the 2 wide. So overall, that's a good over. So 7 gone. It's 43 for 2.
But yes, good start by Bibby, continuing from where Martin would have left off. The Vincentians with that policy, still maintaining the strategy of spin from one end and a pace from the other.
Yep, see 1 or 2 familiar faces.
Yes, we look at that audience downstairs, as I said, very, very engaged in this contest and all eyes focused.
Just saw the young lady from the Cayman Islands, very nice. Like a police officer in the force. She was on camera just now and she had a big smile.
We've had a good turnout too from the other teams in the competition. Some 7 teams coming for this year's edition of the Regional Police T20 cricket tournament. And I believe all of them represented here today.
Well, it's going to be Ofneen Lewis to come into the attack. And he's bowled him! First ball, a wicket. And the wicket of Regis, who was one of their top batsmen. What a delivery. And this game is far from over. The Grenada Police Force under a bit of trouble. They're 43 for 3 and over number 8.
A very, very important strike and a move that the captain will be very happy with. Pulling his main bowler, Kenneth Denver, by all intents and purposes, the main bowler in this St. Vincent bowling attack. And there he was withdrawing his man after 2 ineffective overs and bringing the off-spinner Lewis back. And here he is around the wicket and Regis opting to go onto the back foot, looking to go square of the wicket. And I believe off the inside edge, the ball a bit too close for the shot and not able to control off the inside edge onto the stumps. And now the match beginning to take on some rather more even proportions. This one, Andrew, a low-scoring match, but looking at this stage as if it's going to go down to the wire.
Well, it happens a lot with low scoring matches. I mean, we've seen it on several occasions. And certainly when you look at it, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines side and Grenada, they're locked in battle. And many people are very much involved in this. As we said, a good crowd is gathered watching the action. And a couple of former policemen are here, senior officers. Just saw Mr. Wilkinson, of course, is a former senior officer in the force. In fact, we were at Weymouth. They all came out. Lawrence Maxwell, the former Barbados off spinner, was there, giving support.
So Leslie Riffer at every single match, every single day he was in attendance.
So Samuel Charles is new batsman. And that's poor bowling. That's going to go away. Now you can't get a wicket and then bowl that. Oh, come on, Mr. Lewis. 4 wides.
That one got away. Keeper not being able to get around. Quick delivery down the leg side.
When you make under 140, you simply can't afford that. 2 wide in the leg stump.
The crowd, Andrew, though, you know, Barbados not in the final. Expected to be neutral. Here he is over the wicket to the right hander and really pushing this one much too wide down the leg side. And as again, the keeper not being able to get around to get anything on it. The ball goes unimpeded into the boundary at fine leg. But yes, I was mentioning the fact, Andrew, that the crowd with Barbados not in the final, generally a rather neutral crowd, you would expect. So they are cheering for good cricket. They want to see a good contest and a close finish.
Yeah, it's not been a runaway situation for the Grenada police force, who were very good when they bowled. Got to be careful. And they've already lost their main man, Lawrence.
In the first innings, Vincent found themselves a bit behind the 8 ball. They got to appear, the captain, Maloney and Brown were able to get together, temper everything, try to gradually rebuild. And now the same requirement is made of this pair for Grenada.
50's on the board now. Your Lewis is very important in terms of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's a dangerous lower batsman and a competent spinner. What a delivery. What a delivery.
Again, the batsman choosing to go on to the back foot to one that's sliding on from Lewis.
So last ball of his over.
Anthony Lewis, 8 wickets, as I mentioned, coming into this match. Among the leading wicket takers for St. Vincent.
Ends the over very, very strong indeed, getting the important wicket of Regis in that over, and also conceding wides, 4 of them. In fact, we've now completed over number 8. It's 50 for 3.
Well, yes, this game continuing to present a similar pattern in both innings. As I did mention, 3 wickets down, some 81 runs to win. Grenada just want to have a partnership. It doesn't matter how quickly the runs come. I think they just want to stop the bleeding, stop any flow of wickets to the Vincentian bowlers. But Bibby, as I mentioned, who is very much an attacking bowler, one who's going to look for wickets.
Was going to start over number 9 with a heavily set offside field. And he goes down the leg side. Wide, so add 2 to that. They scampered one as the keeper couldn't take it.
Can't afford these easy misses, the Vincentians. Got to be trying to be tight as much as possible.
So 79 more to get. The required rate is 6.57. So it should not be a problem in terms of the rate. Wickets are 2. Could certainly present a problem. St. Vincent and the Grenadines police force would have been disappointed with their show, having done so well in the competition.
Bit of movement through the air there for Bibby. The batsman looking to drive it down the onside. The slight in swing, taking it onto the inner half of the bat.
Right in the block hole, and as you said, you've got a good view. We're looking over the umpire. That ball with a sling in action, swinging into the right-hander, and just a single.
The kind of bowler who could extract some reverse swing when the ball gets a bit older, of course. Still only the 12th over with this ball.
These two sitting there in charge, just recognizing the importance of just working the ball around. They've added 13. It's small, but it's important. After Regis departed, work it around. The run rate is not a problem. That's going to be called a wide for sure.
Close call.
So the atmosphere is absolutely lovely here at Kensington Oval. Things are a bit quiet after the departure of Regis. So we've completed another over. 9 gone, it's 58 for 3.
Well, the game now, one of some attrition. The batsmen doing what is required, just keeping their wickets intact, keeping the score ticking over, while Bibby from this end has been rather economical, and in combination with the spinners from the other end. If he can actually hold up an end, keep the runs down, and have the spin bowlers attack from the southern end, I think that would be very much a policy that the Vincentians would want to employ.
Yeah, so we're seeing the Trinidadians in the house. From our reports, they've enjoyed the Easter holidays in Barbados. So it's going to be Lewis to continue. He'll bowl to Charles. We start over number 10. Very good work down at that point area.
Nice picture, excellent cricket all around.
Well, that's gone through. That's gone for 4. Wonderfully played by Charles to extra cover. Had a bit of room, and he spanked that through cover for 4.
Fine shot, biding his time, waiting for that boundary ball to come along. And when he got it, making full use of it.
Oh, what a delivery. What a good comeback delivery. A little bit more air.
I think chirped by that previous shot. Charles, a bit adventurous to a delivery, it's a little too close to him. Ball shaving the all stump.
No, Lewis has gone fast and flat and at the middle stump there. Not allowing the batsman to free his arms. Partnership that has realized 20, which is of great importance as well. So we've now completed another over. We're at the halfway stage, and the equation now, 68 more to get. The Grenada Police Force, they've got 7 wickets in hand, and you would think that they should go on to win this, but I've been around long enough to know that things can change and change quite dramatically. It's been an interesting final so far in that the Grenada Police Force doing a very good job in restricting the St. Vincent Police Force, and now they've got the challenge of making another 68 to win from 10 overs, which really should not be a difficulty.
78 for 2 were St. Vincent and the Grenadines at a similar stage, but the bowlers generally have Martin and Bibby in particular. The faster bowlers from the northern end have been the standout bowlers for the St. Vincent and the Grenadines team. But as I mentioned, 78 for 2, playing 63 for 3, tells us that this game still has a long way to go.
And the various flags are dancing merrily in the wind. The Grenada flag and of course the St. Vincent flag as well. Wondering which one will be higher at the end of this game. At the moment, one would think that Grenada are in front, given the fact that the equation suits them with a rate of 6.8, and with just 68 to get 7 wickets in the bag, one would think that they are in pole position. But this really represents, as I said earlier, a tremendous atmosphere. Good crowd is gathered at Kensington Oval, tournament that has been very well promoted by the Barbados Police Service, thanks to the chairman of the organizing committee, Acting Station Sergeant Trevor Griffith, who was here with us earlier. And he must be a very happy man and can take a bow along with his committee. So the situation is an interesting one, and one that Grenada will be quite happy. Time to hear from Joel Manning. Hello, Joel.
Yeah, they're certainly having a time in the stands. I would happily join them. You know, they're a very festive atmosphere here at Kensington Oval, and fitting of this grand finale, this grand showdown. Just 10 overs left in it, and you just wonder who will come out on top at the end of it. As you mentioned, Andrew, yes, things probably favoring Grenada at this stage in terms of how they find themselves set up. In terms of the halfway score total, yes, 63 for 3 is less than what St. Vincent and the Grenadines were in their 10 overs. They were 78 for 2. But what they can take in their favor is that the next 9 overs, just 52 runs were scored for the loss of 8 wickets in that innings that they had. And as such, with 7 wickets in the bag, they certainly can tell themselves that should they be able to just play what would be sensible cricket here, things could certainly go down towards the end for them, because it's not a case of they're not sure what type of total they have to set up. They know what is on the board for them already, and it will certainly take sensible cricket for them towards the end. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, well, it's a simple case of pressure and wickets, and hoping to maybe take a wicket to get things going again will be Romario Bibby.
No great explosive batting, but very exciting cricket.
Certainly looking at the total situational awareness tells us that it was not one that they certainly had to go after in terms of getting that fantastic start. The fantastic start would have been nice for them, but when you look at how the scenario was set up for them, they have a base, only 3 wickets are down. It's a case of just common sense cricket, I guess you could put it in inverted commas, towards the end. Hence why you say the pressure really is on St. Vincent and the Grenadines to force the matter here to probably pick up a couple more wickets. That will not help their cause. That takes the extras now up to 13. And then also looking at the type of total that they have on the board, 13 extras, if you even subtract half of those, you know, that is probably where they might want to be.
Generally, I think part of the reason, though, for this this tight game has been the discipline of the both bowling units. Generally, that not the last delivery there being an example.
Yeah, Grenada, even though the boundaries have not been coming recently for them, the scoreboard has still been ticking over for them. And that's exactly what they want. Keep getting that required total down. It's currently 65 needed.
They want to keep an eye on that required rate. Still very much well within hand.
More extras to the total. Maybe you can understand what he's attempting to do, but just on a couple occasions, getting it wrong and getting it a bit too wide.
Yeah, guilty of, if you can look at it from a technical aspect, guilty of falling away at the point of delivery. A slinging action he has, so it's one of those actions that are very difficult to control the line that one wants to operate on, and a few times that slinging action dragging the ball wide of the arm stump.
That will help the cause. Bibby comes to the party and he picks up the big wicket.
Well, that's the wicket they needed. They didn't want to see this pair continue to build that partnership. We did mention that Bibby has been straying wide of the wicket on a few occasions, but he's also been getting it right a number of times, and that was one such delivery. The drive batsman looking for the drive, and in the air, straight into the lap of Darius Martin there at extra cover, taken, welcoming the catch, and we hear the horns going up in support of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This game continues to hold our interest, and I would invite all who are watching this game, Joel, don't blink.
Yeah, don't blink, don't move. Samuel Charles, he has to go for 10. 67 for 4. And when you look at it, the halfway stage of the innings, you had a chance to regroup, to have the conversation, the discussions in terms of how do we go about this next phase of the game. And I guarantee you, wickets were in that conversation, because wickets are what they need. Bibby, he strikes.
Again, I keep referring to the first innings. The Vincentians lost wickets in clusters immediately after the halfway stage. Now we've seen Grenada lose 1, and we'll see how the next phase of play transpires.
The spectators loving every dot ball of this contest.
Pegging away on that arm stump and outside, Bibby. Good discipline, I must commend him. Field is set, 3 fielders inside the circle, saving at least around the edge of the circle, and then there's a deep cover and the third man. And Bibby has maintained a very diligent line off stump and just outside. There he is again. I did mention earlier that maybe his job was to keep things quiet at one end, but now he's actually added value by picking up a wicket for his team. So he could very well be a hero, Joel, when it's all over here this evening.
Four runs from it, but more importantly, a wicket. It's 67 for 4.
And this game continues to grip the interest of all paying attention to it. And Bibby putting in a really, really good shift for the St. Vincent side. Working hard, he has been. Captain Maloney, though, very much in control. He set his fields, he's made his plans. The bowlers have supported him well generally, as we look to see the Vincentian fans very much on their toes. The Vincentian flag quite prominent.
Yeah, they've certainly turned up in their numbers here to support their boys. And they've been making him proud across this tournament. Lewis to continue. He's been brought back. He found success in his second over. Can he find success for them again?
Unlike the Grenadines, Joel, I find that the Vincentian fielder is very quick off the boundary, quick across ground, restricting those tools that the Vincentians would have been getting when they batted to those balls played in the deep. Also, we noticed the man at mid-wicket not exactly right back on the rope because of the vastness of that boundary on the onside. The fielders in off the rope, giving themselves a better chance also of restricting the runs. Again, they're going to come back for the second run this time. No, they won't. But again, because you see the two deep fielders starting well inside the rope, that has made a significant difference.
Well, every run will matter for them here. Just 131 was the target set. 61 runs needed from 51 deliveries. We could be in for a nail-biter here at Kensington Oval.
Whatever you say, Joel, whatever the outcome of the game, you must commend the Vincentian side, though, for fighting all the way. A lot of sides could have become dispirited with the low total and just chucked it in. But the well-drilled and disciplined Vincentians have made a match of it up to this point.
A bit of a mix-up, but no harm done in the end. It's 12 gone, 72 for 4. I think it's a case of when you look at the total, yes, in the context of what we've seen across this tournament, you would say it is a small total, but I guess the thing that we know about T20 cricket and the thing that we know about finals is that any runs on the board is pressure, and any runs on the board are runs to get. And St. Vincent and Grenadines would have come out here knowing that, yes, they didn't necessarily do what they set out to do with the bat. But it was not game over. There are 20 overs that they still had to come out and do the other half of the job. And if they could start that right, which they have done, if they could apply pressure, which they have done, they could certainly pull things in their favor. You're looking at this contest, you will say, well, in terms of the equation, 59 from 48, in the context of everything that we've seen, Grenada should, in inverted commas, get there, should. But pressure, wickets, how they change a game, and how we've seen it time and time again. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines know that that's what they have to do here. And once again, those dot balls building that pressure, and you have to tell yourself that with Bibby right now into what has been a fantastic spell for him, he picked up one in the over before, could probably pick up another because they've not really gone the measure of him. He's not really bowled too many bad balls either.
Even the mere fact that it is a final, Joel, both teams start with that extra pressure. And now it is up to the respective sides to add to that, to add to that. So Bibby would want to finish strong here. He, like you said, he has done excellently up to this stage. 4 more deliveries left in his spell. And he would like to put a cap on his afternoon's work. That run rate now, required rate creeping up to 7.5. Still very much within reachable proportions. No need for panic on the part of the batting side. Still maintain that if they're able to keep their wickets intact, though, they will be favored to get up. The Vincentians still need to pick up wickets and pick them up regularly.
Yeah, certainly that's the only way that they will win this contest. You think about it from the perspective of Grenada, and you just know that you would tell yourself sensible cricket, rotating that strike, getting yourself to that platform from which you can, in probably about 16, 17 or so, 18, take the game away from St. Vincent. And you're really just not necessarily biding your time, but you're turning the good balls into ones and capitalizing on the bad ball because you know that they're coming. They're humans out there bowling, so the bad ball is coming. For St. Vincent, it's about capitalizing on the chances. They did exactly that to get the first wicket this afternoon with the run out. And it's just those little half chances, those moments of brilliance that they need. They also need the dot balls, which Bibby is doing here on a stretch. Certainly have been a fantastic spell of bowling from him. Just 16 runs coming from the 3.4. Probably would have to say one of the better spells that he's had in this entire competition, and no better time to do it than on the final stage. St. Vincent and the Grenadines are loving it. They're on their feet. Their flags are waving. They still believe.
Josh Noel, though, the batter, not responding to what has been served to him. It is already telegraphed what Bibby is attempting to do, and Noel just holding his ground, not looking to get across that all stump, maybe taking a fresh guard and starting from closer to that all stump, closer to those deliveries, forcing Bibby to have to try to do something different. He's been satisfied to just stay there and swing, and he's missed more than hit.
A fantastic spell from Mario Bibby comes to an end. It's 75 for 4.
Well, whatever the outcome here, I think Romario Bibby can walk with his head held high. He responded to a need from the Vincentian team and has done excellently. 4 overs, 18 runs, and the 1 wicket. would want to see the dot balls that he would have sent down. Maybe some 12 dot balls in that spell. Not a boundary of his bowling. Total discipline, total commitment. As I said, he can hold his head high.
He certainly can. He's done what his team asked him to do.
He's actually walked straight off the field, winded by that effort.
It's certainly been hard work for him. Dylan Douglas, he's going to pick up that ball from the Malcolm Marshall end.
Once again, my player of the tournament. Runs and wickets.
Will be close, and they get home. So once again, good running by this pair, pushing the fielders for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, just finding an open space between the deep mid wicket and the long on. The second run always on once they went hard for the first.
Douglas has picked up 8 wickets before coming into this match, but he's gone at just around maybe close to 8 runs and coming back for another one. So not cleaning up there where St. Vincent and the Grenadines, moments that they cannot afford. I mean, you have a small total, but looking at Dylan Douglas, going at just close to maybe 8 and over, he would want not to go at that today. Probably can only afford maybe 4 or 5 from his over. This could be a chance.
More importantly, he would want to get among the wickets. He would want to get some wickets for his team.
He certainly will, because wickets is probably all that can do it for them.
The only currency they've got to spend.
Protection out there. But what it does is take one more off of that required total. 51 needed from 38 deliveries.
Always in the favor of the batting team when it gets to this stage. Just one good over could blow the game open for them.
Closes it out with a dot ball. 14 overs have been bowled. It's 80 for 4.
Well, not really threatening, just economical. Good finish to the over though by Douglas, but as I said, not really threatening the batsman in that over. And the Grenadian pair will be quite satisfied to pick along, pick up the odd single, but as I mentioned, one good over, Joel, and a couple of boundaries, maybe a 12-14 run over can make a transformative difference to the side.
Certainly that could be the case, and that's why I say it's just a case of batting themselves. They're down 1 wicket for Martin, 1 for Lewis, and 1 for maybe the wicket takers for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They would want to add to that column, but yeah, just going back to that point, a case of, for Grenada, is a case of, for me, how I look at this game, because you always think about small totals and the fact that you don't really want to carry it down to overs 19 and 20, because if you're getting all the way down into there, you know, it could be a case of things could look a little dicey. So for me, the way they're setting up this game, they're setting themselves up for maybe an over 16, 17, or 18 is where they really launch towards ensuring that, if not all, only a couple runs are left into that 19th over. They've set themselves up nicely. 80 for 4. Benetton Stapleton, he's been introduced into the piece.
Must be a key component of this St. Vincent side. And interestingly, that ploy of seam and pace from one end and spin from the other end, still very much in place for St. Vincent.
Stapleton has also been a wicket taker for St. Vincent, and the Grenadines coming to this one, picking up 7 wickets. Been relatively economical as well across these spells that he's bowled in this tournament. Bowled in 5 games before this.
This Grenada side have come out on the better end of 2 very, very close finishes.
Keeping things tight, getting that required rate to go up even higher. That pressure is seeping in here to this contest. It's all though about cool heads. You just wonder though, who will burst under the pressure first?
Well, the horns beginning to blare away, well, continuing to blare away below us. The noise levels have increased somewhat.
Should be signaled wide and is by the umpire.
Similar ploy by Benetton, looking to bowl down around that off stump. And has proven very effective, particularly against Josh Noel, who we notice has faced some 13 balls for 3 runs.
Certainly going to have to get himself going here in Noel. He's been at the crease long enough, and it looks as if that one could have gone to bottom edge. I'm looking at the expression of Stapleton on that occasion, because the keeper did not glove it. You just wonder, was there a bottom edge on that one? Did it fall just short of the keeper, or did it come out of his hands? You see him signaling that it fell just short
Yeah, the ball was
of him
falling,
there.
The ball was falling quickly.
Not the way to follow up Stapleton. 16 extras now have been bowled in this innings.
Falling away at the point of delivery, pushing that ball down the leg side. Cool, calm heads required at this very important juncture of the game.
In and out, and almost run out. We talked about the chances. When they come, will they hold them? And that one, how much will it cost them?
Well, they just had 2 for the price of 1, because even though the easy catch was put down, the batters coming through for that single, and Martin had another chance to get rid of Noel, missing the stumps. Good delivery though from Stapleton into the pitch, and Martin coming around, shelling the chance, and now we have another opportunity, and he's gone.
This time he goes via the run-out route. Success in the end for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Panic in the Grenada camp. That run certainly was not on, was not necessary. Taking a chance with a wicket at this stage, not called for. And after the reprieve, the delivery before, Noel and his partner St. Hilaire have given it away, given fresh life to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Fresh life indeed. He was given a chance. Was Noel the ball before? They came for a single that was never there. Accuracy was the name of the game, and he was accurate to send Noel back to pavilion. 4 from 15 he got. It's 84 for 5.
Having enough time to take aim was Benetton, and he took his time and lined up his target underarm with 3 stumps to aim at, and struck the wicket. Really now has heightened the tension. Short delivery, and the batter, Noel, starting flat-footed, not even backing up when the bowler released the delivery. So he had to start from almost a flat-footed position, and not being able to accelerate fast enough. Stapleton quickly down the wicket. For the second time, we have seen a bowler respond to a situation. First, it was Darius Martin with the dismissal of Lyndon Lawrence. And here we see Benetton Stapleton doing similarly, quickly down the wicket, picking the ball up, underarming onto the stumps. And as I mentioned to you earlier, the determination and discipline shown by this St. Vincent team is to be admired.
Well, they're certainly alive here at Kensington Oval. We're now into the business end, the final 5 overs, the home stretch of this tournament. Kenneth Denber, he's the man with the ball in hand from that Malcolm Marshall end. Starts around the wicket, and I mentioned the overs that he bowled in that semi-final, how economical he was across them. St. Vincent and the Grenadines have thrown the ball to one of their most experienced campaigners out there, and they're asking him to come up trumps in a situation that technically does not favor them, but still does favor them. Roland Cato, well, he's a new man to the crease.
As you can say, Kenneth Denber, your team needs you.
Cato certainly batted well in this tournament. He's coming into situations where they've needed him to have a swing. He's gone at over 200 in terms of his strike rate across this tournament, 187 runs for him. So he can get the job done.
Coming rather low in this batting order. Batsman of his quality, but maybe playing a significant role. And I think somebody's hinting to me that he's carrying a bit of an injury. That may very well explain it.
Yeah, there we go, mentioning that injury, not taking the single on offer. So it also tells you how Cato is probably going to go about this innings as well, because he can't run that well depending on what the injury actually is. So it tells you that he's going to have to probably swing, have a go at it, which also tells you there's a chance here for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to probably take another wicket. We see there him hopping along.
And as much as the fielder had to come all the way from under the big scoreboard on the far side and pick up the ball, Cato still not making his ground by the time the return came in and offering a chance of a run out. So these are desperate times here for the Grenada side at the moment.
But funny enough, given where we are at this stage, I think that in a way this can actually play into the favor of this Grenadian side, because I mentioned that overs 16, 17, 18 being those that you capitalize on in terms of the platform you have set, look to get those runs. Cato cannot run, and as such, for Cato it's going to have to be a case of, as they say, swinging from the hip, and this almost could actually work for them in terms of getting maybe a couple quick runs, reducing that required rate, but at the same time, if St. Vincent and the Grenadines here can string together some deliveries, knowing that they cannot take the quick singles, they can't run twos, then the pressure begins to pile on. The dot balls add that pressure. That's another one. There's 16 overs gone. It's 86 for 5.
Well, Joel, it is do or die for either team with 4 overs left. 45 runs are required. I am going to take my exit for the tournament. This will be the last time that I will be on as far as this tournament is concerned. And I'm going to leave it to you and Andrew to take us through.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for what is probably going to be an absolute crackerjacker of a finish here in this final. The ball in the hand of Benetton Stapleton. Roland Cato carrying an injury at the crease, not able to run. How will this story unfold?
Yeah, you're right. Down the leg side, first ball is going to be called wide. When I was on earlier, the rate required, Joel, was just under 7, and that rate has now gone to exactly 11. And I keep saying this is what happens with small scores. The equation, 44 to get from 24 balls. The current rate is 5.44. They're losing wickets, and this could be a very tight final.
Yeah, exactly the approach that we thought would have to happen from Cato, but it's a case whereby he has to find the boundaries, because the longer he stays at the crease, the more pressure builds up on him, which makes me wonder maybe if he was the best man to come to the crease at this stage.
Yeah, you're right.
Looking at the scenario, you had a case where Josh Noel faced 15 deliveries for just his 4, and Noel was not rotating the strike. You have a case whereby Kato is in a similar position as well, which also means that they could probably even consider just looking to get that feel right.
Well, he can hardly run. He's hobbling. Look at that. Just a single. So that could present problems. The other thing, too, the bowling side, they've done well in cutting those boundaries out. And at the moment, 22 balls are left for the three to get. And it really represents a very interesting situation in terms of who will win this.
Yeah, certainly. It was just in those middle overs of the game, what people say, those business overs whereby even if the boundaries aren't coming because they feel the spread, you still must rotate the strike.
That's going to be called a wide. We've had several of those. In fact, that would take it to 17 wides now, 18 extras overall. Similar situation to the semifinals that Barbados were involved in against the St. Vincent and the Grenadines side. Just a single, drag from outside the line of that off stump for 1. But, you know, there's been tremendous defense of a small score, and we've seen it on several occasions.
Yeah, simply here has to be a scenario of hit out or get out here for Roland Kato, because the longer he stays at the crease, the inability to rotate that strike off of the good deliveries will hurt Grenada in the back end of this contest, exactly where we are right now.
Just a single. This has been another good over from Stapleton. Well.
It's all happening here at Kensington. He came to bat with the injury. He's probably aggravated it even more on this occasion. Was it worth the risk? Yes, we're in a final. Yes, you want to win. He wants to do it for his team, but is it really worth aggravating that injury even more today?
And with the captain not playing today because of the injury sustained 2 days ago against Trinidad, Kato is the captain. And that is also another factor for them as well. So let's look at the equation with a hobbling Kato. 40 to get from 20 balls. And that rate now, Joel has gone to exactly 12. He's going to come off. Is he? We'll just have to wait and see. Or he's just going to maybe just change the bat. But he's clearly in pain. There's no doubt about that. Here we go. Just getting in. And in the process, aggravating things even further. Now he really is struggling. There's no doubt about that. He can't continue. And he's going to have to leave the scene. So Kato departs because of an injury. And that's a big, big body blow for his country.
Yeah, sorry, not just that, because I'm looking now at the balls that he faced. He faced 6 deliveries. 6 deliveries at somebody who was in better physical condition could have been at the crease. When I think about some of these singles that they had to turn down while he was out there, how much might they regret that? Because it came on the back of, like I mentioned again, Josh Noel being out there in partnership with St. Hilaire, and the strike was not being rotated. They were missing a lot of deliveries. A lot of dot balls came into the contest. So they didn't have another 6 deliveries on which they did not really capitalize on. Yes, Kato has been hitting the ball well, but he's not 100%.
Comes off the outside edge, down to third man, just a single.
It's Darryl Cyrus now that has come out to bat. Hasn't done much work so far, just 3 innings for him. Or rather, just 2 innings, in fact, for him in this tournament. 28 in match number 1. And then just in the semi-final, was not out there.
The loss of Kato is big. Here's Stapleton looking to exert even more pressure. Just a single, one would think. Fielder on the mid-wicket boundary comes forward to collect it. And an over in which just 8 runs came. And the situation is interesting. About balls and runs, 38 now to get from 18. And that rate is 12.67. We're going down to the wire on this one.
Yeah, it certainly is going down the wire. And we kind of predicted this because I said, when you're looking at small totals, you don't want to get into overs 19 and 20, but still work to be done, because then that is where the pressure really more than likely favors the bowling side of things. When you look at these totals, you want to get done and dusted with them between over 16, 17, and 18. The way they were setting up for this total, they could have done just that. But in terms of the situational awareness and how they batted in what was those business overs between 10 and 15, they kind of let themselves down, let St. Vincent back into the contest almost, because yes, they batted not necessarily the best, but the bowling was on point for them. You see the claps there on screen, because they've done a fantastic job, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, pulling themselves back into this.
Denver to continue. Started poorly, but has really come back very well. He's going to bowl his last over, just a single. The other thing, too, in terms of resources, Martin has got 1, and Douglas has got as many as 3. Stapleton has been good, he's got 2. So the options. Denver round the wicket, producing more difficulty. Just 16 balls left now. Look at that rate. It's skyrocketing. 13.88. Trouble, and more trouble here. In the air. Will there be a catch? Let's see what happens. No. Instead it goes for 6. A welcome 6, and what a way to remember the 100 for Grenada. Hit high and hard down towards that long on area, and that's an important boundary.
Very important boundary for them indeed. At this stage, bringing up the 100, and you would have to say that Denver probably just getting a bit too full on that occasion.
We'll get a single. Will they look for the second here? No, they won't. Just 1. Many are engaged in this battle. In fact, we've seen 2 very, very good semi-finals. And what a last semi-final with Trinidad and Tobago, looking as if they could have won. And now with the region's Mecca, small total, and it's given problems. 30 to get from 14. That's going to be, oh, poor bowling. That's going to go into the boundary. Full and wide down the leg side. How can Denver do that?
Well, this is what pressure does. His second and third over went for less than 10 combined. He was hit for 6 in this one, and that is what applied the pressure to Denver. That is what made him think and have to change his line and lengths from what he wanted to bowl in this over, and that pressure telling there with a fast one down the leg side. 5 wides to the occasion.
Yep.
In fact, that was actually leg buys, so 4 leg buys to them.
They look for second. The return comes in. They get back for 2. It's been a very good over for Grenada. And Denver finishes his 4 overs, done for 28. Let's look at that equation. 12 balls are left, 24 to get. You can easily work out the rate required is just 12. Well, well, well. What a game we've had. What a tournament we've had so far. Coming down the home stretch. Who will win this?
This is exactly what you wanted for a final. You don't want to show up and it be a one-sided contest at this stage. 12 deliveries left, and we still do not know where it will swing, where it will fall. They're on the edge of their seats in that dugout, Grenada. At one stage, they told themselves that they were feeling comfortable. All of a sudden, the nerves are there for them. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, kudos to them because they stuck to the task. As you would say, they bowled big balls here today.
Indeed.
Strong deliveries, and they've kept themselves in the hunt, kept themselves in the game.
Yeah.
And you would have to think that this 19th over might almost decide. They said this is probably the most important over of a T20 game. Who will come up trumps here? How many runs do they want to leave for the 20th over? That's a question one. Who is going to bowl it, and how much runs do they want to leave for them here?
Well, they've gone with someone who's had the experience of playing for the Windwards. Darius Martin comes in to bowl his last, and the 19th over is always an important one. Wayne Holder's money is on St. Vincent. My money is in St. Vincent. I'm going to keep it in my pocket, and we shall see. So we're down to the business end. What a competition we've had. Over number 19, they're 24 to get from 12 balls. Here's Martin round the wicket to bowl to St. Hilaire.
A bit of a false start there, but you can understand, given the moment, given the importance of today, you want to get it right. You're looking at this field and thinking back to the semi-final as well. You would have to be telling yourself that he's targeting just around the full and just fractionally outside of that off stump. There's a man back at third man, a man out on the point boundary, men on the ring in the offside as well.
Maybe look to angle the ball across the right-hander. Now that was what he did against Barbados, and in that 19th over, just 7 came. So the plan is very obvious: bowl round the wicket and bowl wide.
Funny enough, I actually believe he got away with one there, because that certainly was not the length. If you think about the fact that the offside field is up, knowing that the ball is going across me, that was the length to have a swing and take it over cover. So he probably got away with one there, Darius Martin, so he can count himself lucky.
He's also got the backward point inside the circle. There's no protection in the backward point boundary. But 11 balls left. And 24 runs to get. An important over, as we've been saying all along. In the air, chance for a catch. Catch taken. Further trouble for the batting side. Good piece of bowling by Martin. Catch taken down that cover area. And what a game we've got here. And on the evidence of what we've seen, one would think, we know that T20 cricket is a funny one, but I would suggest that the bowling side with the advantage is 107 for 6 now, 10 to get from 24. Here we go, round the wicket, outside edge, in the air for a long time. And the catch is taken just about now. Well done.
Yes, certainly not where he would have wanted to get that one. The angle going across, he was going to the leg side. You had to tell yourself that that favored the bowler in that scenario. And well, St. Hilaire, he has got to go back to the pavilion. And the problems, well, they're certainly stacking up for Grenada at the moment. It's certainly not over. 24 from 10.
The other thing too, Joel, is that the captain is going to come back to see what he can do. A similar situation to what we had when Trinidad and Tobago played, where Campbell came to the crease against Grenada, the wounded warrior. So the captain says, look, I'm injured, but I've got to come and get my team over the line. So here's Cato. Can he do it? He certainly can't run. Got to hit boundaries here, I would imagine. But the advantage, I would suggest, at the moment to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Here's Martin. Now that's gone over cover. They'll get 2. He's hobbling for 1. Will he be able to come back for the second? No, he won't. That is the problem. They had 2 comfortably, but he just hobbled a single.
And funny enough, the direction that he's looking to hit there is exactly where they need to be targeting for Martin. They need to put him off of this line and length that he's currently bowling. Simply cannot be always looking to target the leg side here. Yes, it is the small of the boundaries, but in looking at the situation here, he will naturally more often not be going across you. Tense times here at Kensington Oval.
So just 9 balls left now. Oh, trouble. Not a run.
Yeah, just once again, you just see where the swing is going, because even that length was the one that he could have gotten over cover, or maybe even over a wideish mid-off position. And you just have to tell yourself that currently St. Vincent, or rather currently Grenada, just losing it slightly. Yes, they're looking for the runs. Yes, they're looking for power, but you must also look at the field that's set for you.
Cyrus has faced 5 balls. He's just made 4. And there are 2 balls left in over number 19 and just 1 run scored so far. What an over from Martin. Just a single. This is fantastic bowling. Absolutely brilliant bowling. So 1 to come. The batting side, they need a boundary here. 22 to get from 7. That rate has gone to 18.86. Advantage to the St. Vincent and the Grenadine side. They need a boundary here, the batting side. Last ball of over number 19. Here's Martin to Cato. That's hit away in the air. He's hobbling for 1. He can only get 1, but importantly, he keeps the strike here. Clearly they had 2, but he's hobbling away. And what a good over from Martin, who finishes with 2 for 14 from his 4. Just 3 runs from the over, and we're down to the last over. There are 21 to get from 6 balls.
Yeah, funny enough, even though they only got 1 there, and you would tell yourself that it could have been or should have been 2, I do believe that in terms of who you want on strike right now, it is Roland Cato. Not just because he's the captain, but also because he has a wider shot range. And you also know the fact that the only thing he can do from here is swing. Obviously, anybody is coming to swing. But in terms of even that shot alone tells his ability to still access the offside as well. So in terms of a shot range, I would want, if I was Grenada, to have Roland Cato on strike here at the moment, because Cyrus has only been targeting that leg side, which they have been unable to access. But it is down to the wire. 21 needed from 6. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no more going home from here. The winner will be decided from these very 6 balls.
Yep, here we go. The last over. And just the run. He takes the run.
Well, they certainly have to take
Oh my golly.
everything here. 5 deliveries.
Dylan Douglas is the man, DD. Advantage to the bowling side. What a performance. Here's Douglas to bowl to Cyrus. In the air. Will the catch be taken off? It will be. He's gone. Further trouble. Further trouble indeed. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The force is playing with tremendous force. We've seen them in this competition. And I know a couple of people haven't seen them play very early in the preliminary matches, have them as the favorites. And with 5 to come, 20 to get, one would think that they are the team in pole position.
Well, they certainly are in the driver's seat, hand breakdown and heading for home at the moment. Couldn't get all of that one, could Cyrus. And well, in the end, a comfortable catch, an easy catch, a regulation catch. Running around at long on, just needed to cup it. He did just that, and he's probably had a hand now on the title.
Yep. Well, Ducetti comes out to do battle. 7 gone now, but just Thomas and Redhead to come. Cato has had a long chat. And I can imagine what it is like in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I know that President of the Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Shallow, has been following the stream. I would even think the Prime Minister, the 5-star general, is also watching as well. Here we go.
A bit of a false start there. You're talking, Andrew, about who's to come, but it has to be done here and now for them. This ball has to disappear. It doesn't. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines get even closer to holding on, because you have to tell yourself, barring what would be an extra, a mistake, the title is going to them. That won't do it. That's another wicket, another hand on the championship.
Yeah, you're right. And I said earlier in my commentary, I've seen on several occasions small scores being defended admirably. Sometimes you underestimate a lot of things. And what we've seen here from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's been a performance worthy of commendation, given lots of air, driven out towards cover, catch taken, and the game is really over. 20 to get from 2 balls. And when you look at St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to be honest, what I've seen in the tournament, a team that richly deserves to win this.
Well, you would have to say it's no longer improbable. It's at the state of impossible for them. As long as a mistake is not made here. 20 from 2. Nicholas Redhead strides out to the crease knowing that he would want to save his nation, but he simply can't here. It will come down to whether or not St. Vincent and the Grenadines make a mistake. Well, that too won't help the cause. Dylan Douglas, he's flipping all the way to the championship.
Yes, indeed. Another catch taken. And this has been a serious situation, a meltdown for Grenada. They had a small total to go at, but they've really struggled. They're under tremendous pressure, and they're going to lose this. 1 ball left, 20 runs to get. They've been questioned, they've been arrested, and on this bank holiday, beautiful day in Barbados, they're about to be jailed at the region's Mecca. Catch taken, and it's all over. What a performance by St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The final ball is about to be bowled.
What an absolute contest we've had here. It's jubilation for those supporting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They know it is coming to them. They've won it 6 times before. And now it is time for another. 1 legal delivery is all that is needed for them.
And they've even got a slip and a leg slip too to show their dominance in this game.
Dylan Douglas, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Walks away, does Josh Thomas, delaying the inevitable. A bit of a smile, a bit of banter. Grenada can take heart because they have fought and fought well throughout this competition.
They now even have 3 slips. Look at that. Put a forward short leg in, put a silly point in.
Well, it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
4 slips now. Here we go.
Title number 7. It belongs to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for they are the champions of the Regional Police Cricket Tournament. Absolute scenes. The only unbeaten side in this tournament. At 130 all out, they thought it was over for them, but then pulled themselves back from the brink. They've put on a fabulous performance, and they deserve to celebrate here at Kensington Oval.
You're right. Very good defense of a small score. Good captaincy. And I can tell you that Martin was top of the stack with 2 for 14. And certainly I thought as well, Denver came back nicely. And what a good performance for Dylan Douglas. 2 overs, no better than 3 for 10 to seal the deal. And congratulations to the men from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. To be honest, they richly deserve to win this. So the celebrations are very much with us here. What a tournament we've had. And the organizers take a bow. And in the final analysis, it's all about St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, the title goes from Bridgetown to Kingstown. Oh, what a time for them. What a day, what a moment to remember for all of them.
So 115 for 9 from the 20 overs. And in the end, falling short by 15. This is a very, very good performance from them. And when they lost Lawrence early, Grenada were always going to struggle, and with Cato's injury, that really did not help at all. And as you said, a side that came to Kensington Oval fired up, inspired by winning all of their matches. And I know that one or two people picked them to win the championship. And with a final like this, it really excites the taste buds for next year. There's no doubt about that. And as we said earlier, those who organize it can really take a bow. Jeremy, 23 at the top. But that wicket of Lawrence, run up by Martin for 2, was crucial. Regis never got his timing right. St. Hilaire, 29 from 33. And then no partnerships, Charles making 10. And it was Cato who was hobbling about the place, went off, had to come back. But it was too much for him. And in the end, his side went down 115 for 9 from their 20 overs.
Yeah, certainly not enough for them here on a day where it mattered most, on a day that they needed their batters to show up. It just wasn't there for them, and you just always knew, as I said, if it came down to the 19th and 20th over, it had to favor the bowling side, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Things started off well for Darius Martin. He picked up 2 wickets as well for Othniel Lewis. He came back well. He started off in his first over, but came back quite nicely. Romario Baby, he picked up 1. But Dylan Douglas in the end, those 3 crucial wickets to really seize home the advantage for them. A fantastic job in the end, and they deserve the round of applause that they're currently getting here at Kensington Oval by all that have come out to support them. Even those that haven't come out to support them have been treated to a fantastic game of cricket. Just what we wanted to climax this tournament.
It was a character performance from them, there's no doubt about that. Because many teams making 130 would say, look, that's not enough. But I think you should also credit their captain, who did an excellent job in terms of the manipulations of his bowlers and the field placing. And in the end, they were able to defend a small total. That rate continued to climb, despite the fact that Grenada were not losing wickets. And it happened so often. And then the pressure told. Wickets were falling like ripe mangoes. And in the end, 115 for 9. Look at those celebrations. Absolutely marvelous performance by the police force of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, their commissioner, their prime minister, and of course the president of Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Shallow, who is Vincentian. He was certainly on the stream watching. I'm sure they're quite happy. And all of St. Vincent, they came to Barbados and they have taken the crown. It's been a very good performance from them, and the celebrations have started.
Well, certainly Vincey Mass here as we take a quick look at those wickets. And things started with them capitalizing on an error. Darius Martin realizing that Lyndon Lawrence was not looking for it. And I think that was truly the moment that set things up for them here. That first wicket, that run out of Lyndon Lawrence, the danger man, and then it continued. Martin again. Jeremiah looking to leave one, and it coming back onto his stumps. And that was certainly the start that they needed. That was 33 for 2 at that stage. Entered Shondell Regis, and he spun a web onto them as well. Regis, he picked up a couple wickets for them also. 43 for 3 they were at that stage, still in the contest. And a fantastic catch being taken there. Romario Baby into the dance, into the show. That was the fall of Charles. Samuel Charles, he went 107, or rather 67 for 4 at that stage. And now this, the crucial run out. Nowhere near it was Joshua Noel. Josh Noel having to go there, back to the crease, back to the pavilion. And from there, the wickets keep tumbling. Martin, he came back into the piece for his second spell, picked up another one. And then it was the Dylan Douglas show. The 3 wickets he picked up in the end, that being the first of them, an easy catch running around at long on. And things continued for him. He was certainly having a wonderful ending to this contest. But at this stage, it was certainly all over. The writing was on the wall for them. That was Redhead being gone. And the final wicket for Douglas at the end of a fantastic spell. He deserves to be celebrated St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they deserve it all. And here it is, that winning moment. It didn't matter what happened there. Celebrations, jubilations, the Vinci Mass for them.
Indeed. And a very good side, perhaps the best team in the competition. And they richly deserve to win this. What a final we've had, keenly contested, and certainly at the end of it, congratulations to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for winning. Of course, Grenada, they were very much involved in this. Very good performance from them. We had two very good semi-finals, but in the end, the coup de grace going to the men from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they certainly will take a bow. Well, we've had a week of action. Thanks to all those who participated in this, the cameramen, thanks to Mr. Green and his team. Thanks, of course, to our scorers, the umpires, and of course the commentators. Wayne Lewis doing a wonderful job. Lou Boy in the block. Joel Manning doing a wonderful job. All that is left for me to say is good evening, and to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, if you itch for success, then keep on scratching. I'm Andrew Mason. Here's hoping for a bar tomorrow for the final time. Is goodbye from the region's Mecca.